Celebrate good times. Come on. Hey, everybody. Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Thomas Gamer Show, where our games and our bodies may go out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain timeless. And the show is now streaming live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our old videos, you can still check them out by going to our YouTube channel. Just search in Timeless Gamers Show. Or you can also check out our website. It's timelessgamers.com. Yes, you heard it right. Our own website, timelessgamers.com. All thanks to Sir JDM right there. Or you can also listen to us talk, sure, by just going to the major audio streaming platforms out there. Just search in, you know what to search. And we would also like to take this opportunity to show our appreciation to BitMap Books and
We have a little bit of technical difficulties here. Yes, we'd like to show our appreciation to BitMap Books and, Streamyard. They are our partners here in Timeless Gamers Show, and we salute you guys for supporting us in every single episode that we've had here in Timeless Gamers Show. Thank you very much for being here with us. And yeah, we have our technical difficulties as well. That's part of Timeless Gamer Show, but we do our very best anyway.
live, guys. It's live.
Live demo.
Live.
Yes,
It's live.
that's live.
Where were we?
And do you love us for it? Come on, admit it.
Where was I?
Yeah, thank you to BitMap Books. There you go.
BitMap Books and Streamyard for allowing us to be there. Official affiliates. And a quick shout out to Retromancy cohorts right there. Studio.ph. Survey cannot be here, unfortunately, because he has to work for a living. Shuffle Emporium and Retro Unlimited. And also a shout out to our retro gaming friends from the Sega Mega Masters. Speaking of which, Sir Braj cannot also be here because, he is also working for a living, driving trains, which, by the way, he is only doing as a side job. Wink, wink. He doesn't really need the money.
Yeah, that's true.
Sir Dan will be here shortly. And and our friends on the Retro Gamers and Collectors of the Philippines. So, previously on the Thomas Gamer Show, we invited the some of the couples that we know here in Retromancy, talking about their strife, their struggles, living with a gamer, right? It was a very interesting topic, to say the least. For one thing, I grew closer to these individuals by learning what they are off camera through the lenses of their partners, if that makes sense. Because we don't really talk to each other that much. No, not really. I mean, aside from
these guys are all strangers,
aside from the obvious, of course. But I'm sorry. So anyway, for all of you guys who can relate, if you are all, it's a public service announcement. If you are also living with a gamer and you don't know what to do and you don't know how to deal with it, just watch the previous episode, and hopefully it will bring you some closure.
No, really,
So,
honestly, guys, if I can interject a little bit, Joe, honestly, in this modern world and modern times, everybody has encounters with gamers. Some of us might actually be living with them. Check out the previous episode of how couples dealt with having somebody as a partner, a gamer as a partner, and you might come away with a lesson or two. Back to you, Joe.
Yeah, and not only that, we got the love guru, Viraj Katwada, dropping in some knowledge on how to deal with a partner who is also a gamer. Free of charge, mind you, because he usually charges us for the hour.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's out of pocket for us all the time.
For this episode, guys, it's the 100 episode of the
Ep-
Timeless Gamer Show, and we've been trying to hold off as much as possible because we wanted everyone to be here.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, but because of life, we can only postpone this episode for too long. We don't want 2 weeks 2 weeks with nothing, with no episodes to bring you guys. So okay, so we just decided on this day, um, and it was also mentioned to us by Sir Carlo, one of our OG hosts of the show. Was it June? It was
yes.
June of 2021, I believe,
Mm.
that we officially started the show. So technically speaking, we are the show is also 3 years old now, but we didn't really address it up until now, um, because reasons we will talk about that later on. So joining us for tonight, Sir Joel.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Joel of the Banyaga Native channel saying hello to everybody, not just on the live, but also on the recorded. We know some of you download our episodes to listen to on the go. Thank you so much for being here every single time and spread the word. It's all about retro, it's all about modern, it's all about having fun with gaming and making sure that everybody has a good time. Thanks very much for being here. And, looking forward to another 100, another 1,000, another million episodes. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. Sir JDM.
Hello, guys. Good evening, and welcome to the 100th episode of the Timeless Gamer Show. And this is JDM DeMarcos of 123 Go, live from the outside of the Takeshi's Castle. Also celebrating the 100th episode of Timeless Gamer Show. Woo!
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM. Sino ka? Si Smokey or si Joey?
Woo!
No,
Was it Joey or ano si
no, Smokey and oh shoot,
Anjo
Anjo,
Eliana?
Anjo
Ah, si-
Iliana, yes.
Anjo.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
I, no, I
did
think
I get it right? No.
yes,
Uh,
I, I think it was Joey De Leon in the in the parang resurgence or the remake. Then
Oh,
right,
it
right,
was
right.
the brother of Anjo Eliana who became like the sidekick
I don't know my history
in
anymore.
yeah.
I never caught that
Um.
one. Okay.
Oh, just got straight from work, Miss I. Straight
Hi
from
everyone.
Chinatown.
Everyone, welcome to Timeless Gamers 100 episode. Welcome to our podcast. Hope you enjoy our show.
All right, thank you for that, Miss I. And of course, returning back to the show, one of our newest additions to the show, Miss Hino.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, or whatever. Thank you for joining us for a very special episode, and I'm honored to be part of this m- milestone for the team. So, again, congratulations, especially to all of the original members. Congratulations on the 3 years, the 100 episodes, and I'm looking forward to having more episodes with you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Miss Hino. All right, so um, it goes without saying, it's going to be just a casual conversation, a retrospective, if you will, on how far the show started, how it began, how it evolved, the host that we had, from the start up until now, our favorite episodes, our fondest moments, the things we are doing right, and the things we are desperately need to improve on
Mhm.
for the next 100 episodes, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Um, so let's start with so before we go with all of that, any opening messages, Sir Joel?
Well, first things first. Thank you to everybody again, to everybody who is here right now, and to everybody who's listened in the past, and anybody who is listening in the future. Because I anticipate that people will still be downloading this episode long after it's aired. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you very much for listening to us. We are always looking for ways to improve. We are always looking for ways to make sure that everybody is comes away entertained and comes away with even a little bit of knowledge about the fact that we talk about, the things that not necessarily are on with the things that are off the beaten path. So the message that I have for everybody is sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure that you engage with us. Make sure that you talk with us. We'll do our very best to, answer all the questions that you have, and take into consideration every single suggestion that you can put forward too. Because again, we're always looking to improve, and we always want to make sure that we bring to you the very best of Timeless Gamers Show. That is my message to everybody.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. How about Sir JDM? Any heartfelt opening messages on your part?
There you go. Thank you so much for all the timeless gamers out there who are showing their support by streaming, downloading the previous episodes that we had since day one. I know, I've been there. I listened while working. I listened to all of the previous episodes while I'm doing my task in the office, sometimes at home if I'm about to sleep, because I love listening to myself and all of my cohorts in this show. So thank you so much to everyone who have supported us from day one, and we really appreciated it. And I hope we could have another dozen or a lot of more episodes in the future. So looking forward to that.
All right, thank you for that, Sir JDM. How about Miss I, as one of the sole female co-host in the show? Any messages coming from you?
Well, I have to say I'm
One
very
one ton
grateful.
pa more.
Yes. I'm very grateful and happy to be part of this fantastic group. I used to be just a watcher, and I remember a few years back even asking Sir Joel, "Can I join the episode on the Game Boy episode?" I even messaged him on Discord, and after several months, I have become part of this wonderful show. So I'm very glad that we are here all together, and we have built this rapport between all of us, because that's what makes our podcast dynamic. So I'm looking forward to more episodes with all of you guys, and thanks to all the listeners and viewers. Hope to see you as we continue.
Knocks the man.
Hmm.
Thank you for that, Miss I. How about Miss Hinu? So Miss Hinu, since we got Miss Hinu here, I remember with Miss Hinu, she started out when we asked her to be one of our guest panels for the PS2 JRPGs, and surprisingly, she really knows her stuff. So ever since, since then, Miss Hino, what's your overall message for the guys and about the show as a whole?
About the show, I found it really interesting that the panel is composed of gamers all around the world. We have different, ages, different upbringings, different favorite genres of the games. And I'm glad that the group has this special bond to them. And I I was really shocked when you guys actually invited me to be part of the panel. So thank you for that. And so far, every time that I have been here in our show, I've been having so much fun. And usually it's the episodes that take more than 2 hours. So I don't mind. uh, as I said, it was really fun interacting with everyone, even if we have like differing opinions and whatnot. I do like to hear like the insights of the other gamers from the panel, and I also like the fact that you're not afraid to make the team bigger. Since right now I do see that we've been having more members to the panel, and I think that's a great thing and also a good sign that we're going to the right direction.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss Hinu. The Timeless Gamer Show will not be another show out there. It's going to be a huge sausage fest. All right. We really desperately need the fairer sex around here. Okay. I mean, girls can also be gamers, guys. Come on, let's not gatekeep. Okay.
No, the fact of the matter is, originally gaming was a guy's domain, but we're very inclusive in terms of if you can game, it doesn't matter what gender you are, as long as you play well, not just the game, but with others. We're always open to anybody being able to join the hobby. So it's a case of making sure that you are here because you want to have fun, plain and simple, and
Yes,
you're not preventing anybody else from having fun at the same time. So just have a good time.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
That
neutral
is
grounds
correct.
here in the Timeless Gamer Show.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Gender equality be damned. All right.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, yeah.
um, so for this next segment, so before we head out with the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
Since it's the 100th episode of the Timeless Gamer Show, we are going to bring something back that we have been unfortunately we've been neglecting. But only there's a reason why.
Mhm.
We're bringing back maybe just for tonight. Uh, we're gonna bring back the Timeless Gamer Show and Tell. All
There
right.
you go.
So show and
Mhm.
tell. In this particular segment, we
Mhm.
are just going to bring out some of the games that we have been that we have accumulated for quite some time, usually every week or every episode. But so it's been a while since we did one. Like the last one we did was what like you guys mentioned back on the but on our Christmas episode.
Yeah,
That
it
was the
was
last show
it
and tell
was a
that we
post
did.
Christmas episode where we showed everybody the stuff that we acquired. So yeah,
So we okay.
it's because also because of the fact that we've been having so much fun with the conversation that we just haven't had the chance to really, insert the show and tell part of the episode. By the time that the discussion rolls on, we realize that we're about an hour and a half in. We completely forget the show and tell part already. But you know, per popular request and for everybody's entertainment, we're bringing that back for the 100th episode. There you
We're
go.
bringing it back, especially to those people who are watching us live.
Mm.
So for all of the audio listeners only,
Yeah.
um,
Tough luck.
tough luck for you guys. So you really need to watch the live show for you to
Yeah.
appreciate what we're going to bring out in the
Mm.
next few seconds. All right,
But we are
we
still
will.
definitely going to try
So
to describe them. We're still definitely going to try to describe
So
what we're
for
showing
the
we
here.
will
audio
try to
only
describe.
guys, it's not just dead air, huh?
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah. All right.
you really need to watch the show as well.
Mhm.
Miss I can still excuse herself, get her some stuff, get her something for show and tell.
Everything.
We will start off with Sir Joel. Sir Joel, what
I'll
you
Me?
be.
got?
I'll
All
be
right,
back.
Yeah.
fine. Let's see. To be perfectly honest, I haven't really had much of a chance to collect much recently because of the fact that, well, work keeps getting in the way. But I always keep an eye out on the usual places like cheap ass gamer, slick deals, Woot, all those places that tend to put the games that I like on sale or for cheap because of the fact that I don't like the great Guybrush Threepwood of Monkey Island series says never pay more than $20 for a video game. So that's the mantra I go by. That is my magical price point when it comes to video games. When the game that I'm interested in hits $20, that's when I tend to get it. Although I have to admit, some of the stuff that I've been showing you guys are not $20 because they were originally priced at much higher. They just went down to an acceptable level for me. So first thing that I want to show off is something that Dan. Let me just turn off my backdrop for a moment so that I don't flux. Something that Dan Faulkner might actually enjoy. It's a game called Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth for the Xbox. So this
Oh,
is
Oh,
the Yakuza series. This just recently went on sale for I think $30. It's a good value. I mean, every single Yakuza game is so much worth, so much more than the actual price that you're getting it for. Not just for the storyline, but for the mini games, for the side stories, for all these little tiny things that you can do in the Yakuza series. I've only played up to Yakuza 4 so far, and I've been having a blast with every single Yakuza game that I've been playing. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the latest game in the series that actually features the new protagonist, as well as the old protagonist Kazuma Kiryu, who seems to be in disguise. I don't know the storyline. I'll find out when I jump into it. So this is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I got it on sale for the Xbox. Next thing that I am going to show is another game that seems to have come out recently, but has dropped in price very quickly. Anybody who is familiar with My Time at Portia, it's a casual
Oh,
farming type of game. Recently, they came out with a sequel. It's called My Time at Sandrock, and
oh,
it's a little different. In My Time at Portia, it's a port town
Ah,
to close to the
action RPG, right?
Or
Yes, it's a
Ah,
casual life sim RPG type of game. This game is My Time at Sandrock. It's set in the desert this time, and same mechanics
uh,
apply: crafting, interacting with a lot of different people in the town, going to mine different resources and everything. My Time at Sandrock for PS4. I got this for $40. I think it was originally selling for 80, but $40, especially for a collector's edition for this
oh
one.
shit, collector's edition pa pala yan. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
god.
decided to get it because it went on sale, and I decided, heck, I enjoyed My Time at Porsche a lot. I'm absolutely sure I'm going to enjoy My Time at Sandrock as well. So that
what are the
is
inclusions?
the inclusions. Let me just double check.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of like little standees and statuettes and things like that. So that
How
is
can you
what.
tell if you're not going to open it though?
Well, that's the thing.
oh,
Eventually, maybe about 5 to 10 years down the line, when I get the chance. Honestly, once I actually finish My Time at Porsche, that's when I'll probably open it.
my time in
Next thing,
Arrakis.
yeah, oh, and My Time at right. Oh my goodness. That's Dune. Okay, there you go. Next thing that I got was if anybody's familiar with the At Game series, they produce a lot of handheld video games. They also produce the Legends arcade series. They came out with the Legends Core Plus, which is this little hockey puck right here. You load up with a lot of arcade games, and that you connect to the large TV. And the nice thing about it is this package includes a controller that you can connect to the hockey puck. Normally, you have to provide your own controller, or you have to have your own joystick. What do you call that? Arcade stick for you to be able to play all these classic arcade games. For a hundred built-in games, 100 arcade games. I'm not just a console player. I'm not just a PC player. Dan would appreciate this. Arcade games rule the roost. So we used to go to arcades to enjoy video games. This is something that you can play. It's got Space Invaders. It's got Operation Wolf. It's got let's see, Fix It Felix Jr. If you guys are familiar with the Fix It Felix game in the Disney movie, this actually has the game that they represent in that movie, Fix It Felix Jr.
Is an actual
Mhm.
video game character pala. I thought he was just made
Oh, he
for
was
the
just made up.
movie.
He definitely was just made up for the movie, but everybody was so interested in the game that they said, "Why don't we make an actual? Why don't
Ah,
we make an actual
Nice.
game?" So they made Fix It Felix Jr., the arcade game. It has other games like City Connection, Burger Time, Joe and Mac, Tetris. So yeah, this is a nice thing about it. You can modify it. You can put more arcade games in it. It's not just 100 games built in. I got that for $20.
I think we
Let's
have
see.
Sir Dan on the comments. He said,
Mm,
late to the party, but looks like I arrived just in time with
all
Sir
right,
Joe's
perfect.
Yakuza and arcade shows.
All right, there you
Guys,
go.
Sir Joel will not open his stuff until we got at least 20 likes.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Make sure you get those likes in. Okay. All right. Now, for my brother gifted me a PS5 last Christmas, if I remember correctly, and I haven't had much of a chance to collect for it. But I have been on the lookout for PS5 games that have gone down on price. This is one of them. It's a game called Anno 1800. For those of you who are
Hmm.
familiar with
I
strategy
know.
games, the Anno series have been going on ever since I think early Windows 95. And Anno 1800 is the equivalent of what you call a grand strategy game for consoles. Anno 1800 is one where you go into the age of sail, the age of industry. You build up a town from scratch, and you make sure it's a thriving city by the time that you finish the game. The nice thing about the Anno series that the later games have always tried to incorporate storylines into it. It's not just the fact that you're building a town. You can make your own story, but the nice thing about it is they do provide a storyline to it. There is a campaign to it. There is a good story to it. You know, you are a businessman who is poor, but has lost everything. His family's gone into dishonor, but you are doing your best to try to rebuild it. It's a nice little game, and I played the PC version of it. The PS5 version, I'm looking forward to it. It's the Anno 1800 console version. I got this for PS5. $15. Lucky enough, I was wandering around Walmart. I got it. I saw it for 15. I nabbed it. Why not? And
How
the
can you
last,
tell now? Sir Joe Mar
sorry,
has a question for you, Sir Joe.
sure, sure. How can you tell if it's the real thing and it's not a rock if you don't open it? That's the nice thing about it, Jum. It's the luck of the draw. If it turns out that it's a rock by the time I open it, well, what can I say? At least I spent years waiting around to open it, and I just roll it into opportunity cost na lang. And the last thing I got is I've been playing this game. I've been playing the first game in the series on stream. It's called Elex, and it's like a post-apocalyptic version of Skyrim, for lack of a better comparison. Post-apocalyptic version of Skyrim, and it's a large open world. You play some guy who used to be part of the enemy, and he lost all his powers, and he finds himself on devastated Earth among different peoples who try to integrate him into their lives, and he understands that there are different kinds of lives. Now, this went on sale. There you go.
Holy shit! What the hell? That's big.
This one went on sale for I think $40. Elex 2 collection.
$40? That big? Really?
This one actually
Holy
has
shit!
the statue inside of it.
The-
It
It
includes
doesn't include the console. Does it
no,
include the
it does not
PlayStation
include
console in there?
it does include the statue. It does include a soundtrack. It does include concept albums, which with music. It does include an art book, and it does include the steel book, a keychain as well. So that's the thing. Elex 2. I did enjoy the very first game of it. It was a nice little open world game. And this one for $40, I couldn't resist. I decided, why not get it? So the nice thing about it is you can go to woot.com, WOOT, and they put the games that didn't sell well on sale. They're usually for a fraction of the price.
I
Those
really
have been
do
my
hope
acquisitions for the past few
the
months.
sound I really do hope the soundtrack are in
Mhm.
those physical media form, because have you heard recently that Sony announced that they would no longer be producing in the future physical media like
That is true.
Blu-rays and DVDs, right? Which
That
is
is
sad.
true. Yeah, I'd heard about that. The fact that Sony has been closing down their division that actually produces optical media. So Blu-rays, DVDs, things like that, those are gonna go. Those are gonna disappear already. So for those of you who are currently collecting physical media, try to acquire the ones that you actually want now, because there will come a time in the future when they're going to be impossible to find, and if it's everything streaming, then there might not be a chance for you to see them ever again because of licensing issues. At least if you own the physical media, you will still get the chance to watch it, play it, listen to it whenever you feel the mood to. Streaming is nice, streaming is convenient, but streaming isn't everything. That's good advice, JDM. So those have been my acquisitions for the past few months, and that's what I've been collecting, because life has been really busy, but I still keep an eye out for the cheap stuff. So back to you, Joe.
That's it. Okay.
Yep, that's it for now.
I'm expecting
For
more.
now.
That's it for now.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joe. So, how about Sir JDM? What you got for the class? For all of you guys who just got here, we're just bringing back show and tell. Okay, so it's show and tell again, guys. It's been a
It's like
while. Might as well.
impromptu.
It's the 100th episode, so we're bringing it back. So
Yes.
JDM.
As for me, I haven't been buying any stuff, and unfortunately, I'm currently back home right now, hometown, and one of the only thing that I bought that I brought here in the province is this portable radio
No, oh, that's cool. Yeah, those are nice. Mm-mm.
because I've seen it in Facebook Market. They were
Mm.
selling this for 300 pesos or I think 500 pesos,
Mm.
and it really reminds me of the portable radio from the Silent Hill games.
Oh
It
yeah.
really looks like this, and it
Mhm.
even sounds like
Mm.
you can hear it.
The
It's
static.
like
You can hear the
yes,
static
the
too.
static.
Yeah.
It's like the monsters are getting nearby. So this is one
Mhm.
of the things that I bought. I think a month ago or a month or
Mhm.
two,
Mhm.
and also I bought um a GunCon 2, but it's like a third party GunCon 2 where it has this late laser thingy, LED thingy on its under barrel
Oh yeah.
that you
Mhm.
can point to the CRT, but the only drawback is it reflects through the CRT TV, so the light bounces back to your eyes, so it's quite annoying. So those are the only acquisitions that I had after the
Oh
Christmas
no.
hauls.
All
All
right,
right.
thank you for that, for JDM. Uh, I was going to say, is that a walkie-talkie? No, it's just it's one of those. Is that like one of those radios from back from the 90s or?
I think this one is from the 90s and it's made in Japan, which is nice.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good quality though.
that's the kind of stuff that you used to listen to during the 6 hour brownouts in Metro Manila way back when you
Yes,
had
and it
Holy
uses
shit!
the AA batteries.
Yeah, when you had no electric
Yes.
fan, no television, no nothing. You just had a radio with batteries in it, and you'd listen
Yes.
to Ray Langit. So
Sir Joel, you need to explain it to Miss I.
oh, okay,
Uh,
okay.
back in those
Yeah, way
days.
back in the day when you were a wee little lash, back in the 90s, we had 6 hour power outages in Metro Manila. And it was bad. It was really, really bad. There were 6 hours when
It's
there were
12 during typhoons.
yes,
So it's
exactly
12
12 hours
hours.
during typhoons. And you just sat around in absolute heat when there was absolutely nothing to do. There was no fan, there was no television. All you would do is stare at the walls and listen to the radio, and whatever was there. And you got familiar with AM characters like Princess
Play with the candles, doing shadow puppets all the time.
oh yeah.
Everybody kept doing that.
And the funniest
Or
thing is that you actually got
you run the
involved
candle
with the AM
across
shows. So
the
that's what.
candle.
Mhm.
You also actually put the
Wait, why
candle
are you explaining it
run
to her?
across
How
the
old is
fingers.
she?
That's a good question. How old are you, Miss Eileen? I know,
I'm
but
How
actually
but
young
you
are
know,
you? I'm sorry.
30s, late
Hmm?
yeah,
30s.
no. It's impolite to ask a lady her age. So no, we'll just leave it at
I'm
that.
also a lady.
Oh yeah, I know that's true. But then again,
Oh
it's a
boy, here we
general
go.
rule.
Let me
No,
interject. Let me interject.
All right, all right.
I was able to experience those blackouts, and this is what we had to listen to.
Oh, there you go. Okay, a
Jollibee,
Oh, nice.
Jollibee radio.
Jollibee
Nice.
Radio, the
Very
Jollibee
cool.
Radio
Very cool.
Broken antenna. Oh,
Antenna.
with a
I
broken
think that
antenna.
has
Oh my
more
That
god,
value
works.
than my Sony portable radio here.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
I
those
lost my radio, my Jollibee radio. No.
No, I also had one of those Jollibee radios before. I
Mhm.
remember those.
very
Um,
reliable.
Miss Eileen is showing off a Jollibee radio, a radio that is in the form of Jollibee, the official mascot of Jollibee, the most popular restaurant in the Philippines, and surprisingly, getting more popular here in the United States as well. They've been
For
putting up a lot of branches here in the U.S. too.
for all of you guys who are
Thank you to
non-Filipino
Gundam
who are
for
watching and who
promoting
are
Jollibee.
watching and listening to us right now, if you want to know about Jollibee, search in Jollibee dancing Versace on the floor. You will not regret it. If you're not for the restaurant, at least you will enjoy the dancing stylings, the
Mhm.
sexy ass dancing stylings of the Jollibee mascot himself.
I mean,
All
Is
right.
it
heck,
We
ours
just
for
have to exploit that
we're
mascot all
we're
the time,
we're
don't
not
we?
just we're promoting Jollibee because of the Filipino culture, but hey, we wouldn't say no if Jollibee decides to sponsor us. Hey, hint, hint. Okay. Anyway,
Wink,
Saya?
wink. Nudge, nudge.
nudge, nudge. There you go. All right,
Nudge, nudge.
excellent. Mhm.
How about Messina? What you got for the class? Show and tell, guys.
Mhm.
I haven't acquired much games lately, but here's something
Liar.
that I told myself that I was just gonna buy 20 games for this year. So this is unplanned since I really love the Harvest Moon games, and then I saw this and I'm like, oh no, I need to get it in PSP. So yeah, I got
Harvest
the
Moon.
Harvest Moon Boy and Girl for the
Mm.
PSP.
PSP.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah, I saw it in a marketplace, and then someone was selling this also for cheap. I
Oh,
played the
Code
God
Vein.
Eater
Nice.
games,
Mhm.
so I was
I
curious
forget
about
about
this.
Code
I
Vein.
never got to play it, so I
Mm.
wanna play it.
Is
I
that an
also wanna
action
play
RPG?
What's
Scarlet
Code Vein
Nexus.
about? I keep seeing that. I keep seeing that Code Vein. Oh, it's always on sale.
Post-apocalyptic
Like,
Yeah, post-apocalyptic action
RPG.
RPG, if I remember correctly. Yeah. There you go.
Next is that when I was cleaning the room earlier, I saw a laminated card that I bought when I was in high school, I guess, and it was
Oh,
the cheap laminated cards. I'm like, oh my god, FF7, and
Final
oh my
Fantasy
god, everyone's
7.
here. I'm
that's from
like, oh,
Comic Alley.
it's the cheap printout ones that you
From
can buy
Comic Alley.
at the street.
Hmm.
No, not comically, but at the street, yung bangketa, the
Ah,
tinderas.
From Bulod.
For
I
if
recognize
ever,
those boobs anywhere.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
of course. Uh,
I'll admit,
I
I
did
used to buy those
mention
too.
that
I'll admit, I used to buy
I
those too.
I had a lot back then. I mentioned that I'm trimming down the number of games that I've been buying, but what replaced it was other stuff like books.
Oh,
So this
books.
is the complete Skyrim library.
Nice. Very
Ah,
good.
It's friggin' heavy, and then you can open it like
sure Dan will
this.
love that.
It's
Yeah.
gonna have like
Sure Dan will love that.
and it has 3 books. It has like
What?
a book for the characters, a book for like the places, the histories of Skyrim. So I'm looking forward
So,
So,
to
so hang on.
does
reading.
it contain
So just
all the
Skyrim,
books?
not
Yeah.
Morrowind.
No, no, no. It's exclusively for Skyrim. I'm
Oh,
not sure if this is correct or not, but I think some of like the books that you
Mhm.
find in game, some
Yes.
of those
ah,
information are also printed here. So
I
that's
was
why it
I
was
was
on
gonna ask
sale
that
to
because all the books that are in Skyrim, if you compile them all into one large book, it's gonna be huge because there's so many books inside Skyrim. Sometimes I go
yeah. So
around
I
just
guess this
reading
is the
them.
physical. Maybe
Mhm.
this is the physical
Mhm.
compilation of all the books
Mhm.
in the game.
Mhm.
Ah,
Uh,
ganyan.
what else?
all in color.
Mm, I haven't started playing the DLC yet for Elden Ring, but
Oh.
I'm not
Who is
ready to relieve the trauma and the rage and
that?
I'm an old school
Oh,
player. I do not
nice,
have the
very good.
reflexes. I do not have the skills to, fight enemies. I don't have that intuition, just
Yeah,
like the
Messino is
Monster
now
Hunter
showing
here.
off a
So
statue from is that Elden Ring, right, Messino?
yeah, the new main villain, I guess, for Elden Ring. This is
Mm.
the statue that came with it. So looks really nice. Definitely more detailed versus the statue for the base game. So
Who is that?
I'm
Who
really
is that character?
Mesmer
And
is
Mesmer.
his name. He's the new main baddie, I guess, or like the mascot of the DLC. So I'll
uh,
once I play, I'll let you guys know how many times I cried and how many times I stopped myself from throwing the controller. And
Well, it's not a Souls game if there's no rage.
that's right.
yes.
Lastly, so a family friend of ours randomly
There you
dropped
go.
by in our house, and then they said that they're migrating to a different country. And then I mentioned, oh man, I really want to have a PS5. And then, you know what? He said, okay, I'll just go get my PS5, just pay in installments until December. And then here we go. I now have a
Very
PS5.
nice. Very cool.
I don't know. I was like, wait, where are you going? And then when he came back, it was like, he's carrying the box and everything else. I'm like, do I have no say in this? Why am I
No, no,
suddenly
no, no, you don't.
bankrupt?
No, you don't.
No, you don't. No.
I
No, you
was
Mm-mm.
don't.
And I was originally planning on getting the slim one because I normally just get the slim version of the
No,
consoles,
fuck
but
that. No, no. Fuck the slim one.
oh,
You always get
really
the
now,
OG one.
damn it. So yeah, I'm glad I do have a lot of, or not really a lot of, but I do have some PS5 games here because I do tend to buy the games before buying the console. So now I can play FF16. Now I can play Replay, 7 Remake, and there's one more game. Of course, Elden Ring DLC. So at least now I can play more modern games and also trim some of my backlogs for the PS4.
Demon
Last
Souls
bonus.
remake.
To the fans of like Detective Conan, do you know this?
Just don't point it
It's
at
in the
who's that
anesthesia
guy?
gun wherein you're gonna make, yeah, the mustache guy, you're gonna make you sleep. Just a quirky little thing that I found on the auctions. That's it for me, guys.
Well, the fact that Miss Eileen showed the Skyrim book series made me remember that we have this at home. Oh shoot! Let me just turn
Uh,
off the backdrop again. Made me remember that I have that we have this one that one of our friends in G3 would love to have. Likely, it's the Skyrim Legendary Edition game guide.
Mm.
I know Chino Notch loves game guides and just wanted to show
Holy
him
shit,
that.
that's a
uh,
tome.
Yeah, this is a tome. We're talking like, this is the guide to the game itself, but I think Miss Hino has the books that actually contain the actual books
The
inside of
lore,
the
yeah.
yeah.
guide. So yeah, so this would pair well with your book, Miss Hino. So there.
That's true. No, why are we always going back to Skyrim? Stop it.
I mean, heck, it's I have to say it is one of those games that has become, well, for lack of a better word, and to plug our show, timeless. It's
Timeless.
yes, it's the
And
game that.
it's
Mm.
Skyrim that it's like Resident Evil 4 or uh, GTA 5 that it has been ported to almost every system or appliances,
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, eventually there will come a time that I can play Skyrim on my toaster, but I won't complain. I won't complain.
Isn't the most ported Doom?
Yes,
Can you
it's
put
the
Doom
most.
on
Yes,
it?
the most ported is always going to be Doom, and that's a great game. I still boot it up every now and then. Run through, chainsawing some demons, and eh, Doom guy is Isabel's best
Yes.
friend from Animal
If you
Crossing.
have
So
been living under a rock,
yeah.
Doom can be played on like a scientific calculator.
Oh yeah.
On
True
everything.
story.
I mean, heck, if I was taking an exam and I could run Doom on my scientific calculator,
Through
I
the
wouldn't be able
exam.
to answer any questions anymore.
I know I'm gonna fail anyway, so
Oh
just not
yeah, might as well just enjoy
Why
the
waste
not
my
time,
play?
right?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
1 hour
so
game time.
yeah, so Joe, it's your turn.
Oh my god. Okay. Um, it's not a competition, guys. Sorry.
It's not a competition, definitely not.
What do
No,
you mean?
It's not a competition.
no,
Okay.
of course not.
Ever since we did the Kia, ever since the Christmas show and tell, I have been busy. No, well, not so
Mhm.
much. Um, so let's start off with how about here? This one, um, Dungeons and Dragons Tactics
Nice,
for the
very good.
Nice.
PSP.
Mm, very
It's
cool.
Dungeons and Dragons in tactics form. There
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I got it from CEX. Not entirely sure how exactly this plays. I just saw this. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, it's in
Mm.
tactics. Okay, I'll just
I
buy it.
imagine it plays a lot like the old Gold Box series, wouldn't you say, JDM? The old, the old games like Curse of the Azure Bonds and
Yeah.
the Dragonland series. I wouldn't be surprised if it played a lot like that.
Yeah. If you play Baldur's
Um,
Gate or those other Icewind Dale, it's like tactics because you can pause every
Mm.
now and then. The only difference is it doesn't have any like boxes or squares or hexes to move your characters in. But
Uh-huh.
it's I think it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
this is the good thing about going to our local CEX. It's our local thrift shop in regarding with old video games. It's
Mm.
CEX. In here they call it sex. All right,
Okay,
CEX. Sure
fine.
enough.
Of course
So
they do.
another game that I got from CEX. It's Genji.
Oh,
The
Genji.
Days
You know.
Days
Hmm.
of the Blade. It's an action RPG for the PlayStation 3. So I saw this and I'm like, oh, an unfamiliar title that I'm not aware of.
Mm.
So I checked the gameplay in YouTube and I'm like, okay, action RPG. Not really my thing.
Mm.
But I'm like, oh, there's party members in it. Okay, at least you're not alone. That's the thing. If it's an action RPG and the main character is all and you only have one character that you can play, I'm like, That's why I haven't. That's why I don't play the Legend of Zelda
Mm.
kind of games.
Okay.
I always
Hmm.
if it's an action RPG, I'll only play that if you have a complete party with you. So
Okay.
yep. So Genji Days of the Blade, right
Mm.
here for the PlayStation 3. Says here, Game of the Year, 2006 for Best Artistic Design.
Hmm. Okay.
Ah.
Um, Next one, we got another one from CEX, Fantasy Star Universe for the
Oh,
Xbox 360.
nice.
So,
Raymond might like this one. But Raymond doesn't play RPGs, does he?
no, he does not. No.
Uh,
So Dan,
Sir Dan might like this. So, not necessarily, a continuation of the main series. Um, After Fantasy Star 4, they kind of um, dabbled here and there with the Fantasy Star franchise. So this one
hmm.
for the Xbox 360.
I think I
Um,
read somewhere that the Fantasy Star Online and Universe series is a spin-off of Fantasy Star 3. I could be wrong on that one. Mhm.
Another one from CEX, and Miss Hino might be aware of this one. It's Lunar Genesis for the Nintendo DS.
Hmm.
Um,
Ah.
on the PAL region, it's Lunar Genesis, but it is well known as Lunar Dragon Song.
Oh my goodness. I've heard
In the West.
so many bad things about Dragon Song.
Lunar Dragon
There you
Song.
go.
There you
Okay.
The
go.
US and the
wow.
PAL version.
I mean, not bad in the sense na the game itself is bad. It's just the fact that I hear it doesn't really tie out very well with the Lunar series. I guess
The
I think
only
its predecessors were so good that this
It just
doesn't
fell in,
really live up
fell in,
to.
fell in comparison.
Yeah, it's hard as trying to follow up on some really great games talaga eh. The sequels
Yeah.
always will suffer. All right.
If there's only one good thing I can tell about Dragon Song or
Uh-huh.
Lunar Genesis is that they got the same guy who did the artistic illustrations.
Mm.
However, that's it. The gameplay is doesn't resemble Eternal Blue, doesn't resemble Silver Star at all. So they completely overhauled the gameplay, which baffled the fans of the Lunar series really. And I'm like, but I saw this in our local CAX, and I'm like, okay, am I really gonna am I buying this so I can play it, or am I gonna buy it just because of the legacy of it? I'm like,
Mm-mm.
the latter.
Yes.
Next up, another one from CAX. It's Monster Hunter Stories for the Nintendo
Ah,
Nice.
3DS. Now, I'm not
Oh,
really
nice.
into Monster Hunter games.
That
However,
would be
uh,
Ranji. Ranji Patag, one of our panelists sometimes here, is a Monster Hunter fan. But I hear Monster Hunter Stories is good. Story wise.
Yeah,
Story
same.
wise, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not really
It's for
much
those
into
people who are
Monster
not really
Hunter.
into the monster hunting
hmm I
I
aspect.
think
only I
Joe
only
and I
liked
are very
it
much story guys.
because um, it plays more of a traditional RPG. Um,
Mm-mm.
mhm.
Not constantly fighting monsters endlessly. I mean, this has a beginning and an end. Story wise, it plays more like a Pokemon game, really.
Pokemon, yes.
Mhm.
Mm.
um,
I would play it. I
yeah,
mean, anything with a good story, anything with hunting games, RPGs, we'd play it. I would still probably play it on the go. That's on 3DS, Baja.
3DS, yes. The
3DS.
sequel
It
for it,
recently has a port
Ah,
for the
okay.
yeah,
Switch.
Nice.
the sequel, Monster Hunter Stories 2 for the Switch.
Mhm.
There's also one.
Okay.
Um, Going now to the PlayStation to the PlayStation 4. Oh, well, yeah. Speaking about the Switch. Okay, Switch. Eventually, we're gonna have to talk about this genre anyway. I got Re Zero,
Mm.
starting life in another world. The prophecy of the throne for the Nintendo Switch is an anime visual novel game. I'd say about 80% visual novel, 20% RPG. Really, Re Zero. This one I got it from the EB Games 12 on 12 sale. This one.
Mm.
Well, the only ones that I can find, because the good ones already been taken. Miss I knows it. Miss I and Sir JDM knows this. Next up, we got Trails of Cold Steel 3 for the PlayStation 4. I played Cold Steel 1 and 2 on the Vita. I liked it. I like both games. I like the story. I like the world building. But I haven't have yet to play Cold Steel 3 and 4.
Mm.
Same.
Mm.
Um,
Same.
and you got Trails of there's another one actually, and there's a new one called Daybreak. I haven't
Nayuta and something.
Yeah.
Actually, since Josh showed that one, his VN, I wanted to showcase what I got Alexandria, my daughter. It's this one. I think Joe might appreciate that one. My next
Yes.
book of the villainous, all roads lead to Doom, the visual novel for Vita. And
Ah.
Alexandria played through the first series. She likes the path with the quiet Duke, I think, the one that's super attractive to everybody, but he doesn't talk to anybody but her. I
He
forgot.
doesn't talk too much though.
Yeah. She doesn't like the fact that I always choose Jordo, the main guy, the blonde prince, because she says I'm way too basic. But then again, that's the canon event. She eventually will get together with Jordo anyway. So that's she just doesn't like that. She doesn't like that I always go for the
Basic.
canon event.
Has no personality at all.
No, but I want this actual storyline, because we're talking about visual novels anyway, so might as well.
Might as well.
Mhm.
Speaking of Nayuta, we got Nayuta.
There it is. Yeah.
So we got Trails of the Legend of Nayuta, Boundless Trails, the collector's
Nice.
edition. And nope, unless we get 20 likes, I'm not gonna open this either.
There you go. I was gonna ask first. What's your advice for somebody who wants to start off on the Trail series? Is
Jesus
everything is everything essential to each other, or can you just jump into any single one and not worry about the ones that came before?
For the world building aspect of it, I would say start off Trails of the Sky.
Trails in the Sky. Okay.
Trails of the Sky 1, 2, and 3, and then the Azure series 1 and 2, and then Cold Steel, the Cold Steel series. Why? If you play Trails of the Sky 1, some of the characters will carry over to Trails of the Sky 2. And
Okay.
some of the events of 1, 2 will be carried over to 3. And some
Okay.
of those characters and the events will be referenced in the Azure series. And some of the characters and the storyline of both games will be referenced on the Cold Steel series. So if you're going to be although you can start off you can start off anywhere really between the three. However, to get the full grasp of okay, who is this? What is he talking about? You really, I mean, it's very daunting of a task really
Okay.
to play all of it. But the game rewards you eventually by sticking through it. Because because of world building and their character development, the series will reward you with the twists and turns of how the story will progress, and it's very, how should I say this? It's very JRPG in a sense that you know how you know how we like to watch anime, the storyline, and if you are watching anime like a lot, if you are the type of person who reads like light novels or manga, the storylines, the characters, the enemies here is very it's very it's very Japanese. If that makes sense. The way they carry the story. It's not like your typical American storytelling in terms of the fantasy aspect of it. This one you can really tell that the tropes are there here in the tropes. You can really notice it.
Well,
Moving
before
on.
we go any further, Joe, we have somebody just joined us right now, and is one of the main reasons why I'm wearing a turtleneck. I want to pay tribute to his normal garb whenever he shows up here in Timeless Gamer
A wild
Show.
Pokemon appears.
There you go. Dan Faulkner joins us here, Timeless Gamer. Thanks very much, Dan, and we're very happy that you're here. I saw your comment about coming in just in time to see the arcade game and Yakuza that I was showing off. There you go.
Excellent shows, mate. Excellent shows. That, and I also I saw Sir Joe do his fantasy.
Oh, there
Star
you go.
game also.
Nice, very cool.
Mine's an old Xbox one, but it's only a flying visit from me, only a short one, gentlemen. But I wanted to jump on with it being the 100th episode, so
Absolutely.
so here I am.
It's the thing about Dan is that every single one of us is an amazing addition to the show. The nicest thing about Dan's being a part of the show is that he gives a unique perspective of how gaming is in the UK, in the British Isles, in general, like the part where we Filipinos tend to not interact as much with, because we tend to have a lot of Japanese interactions, we tend to have a lot of US interactions, the UK. Dan brings an amazing and unique perspective to the show, and we always thank you, Dan, for putting in your two pence, shall we say,
Nope,
into the
thank you.
show.
Thank
Yes.
you, mate. Thank you.
Since we got
an
Sir
honor.
Dan here anyway,
Mm,
since we got Sir Dan here for a while, the, if I'm going to ask a few questions,
yeah. Mm.
because I really would like to hear it from him, coming from him. So, Sir Dan, so you've been on the show for a few seasons now.
Mm.
So, overall, what can you tell on how we conducted the show since then?
Yes.
Since you've been inducted to the show.
What is in what is in? What do you think's what's changed?
What's good? What can stand to be
Good.
improved? What's your advice? What should we do? Mhm.
I think what I really like about the show is I really like the wide range of subjects that are covered. I think what I think the show's got that makes it quite special is it's not afraid to dig deep into subjects that that other shows might ignore. You know, a lot of people go for popularity. You know, we could easily, if we wanted to be popular, we could do a show on Mario or Final Fantasy or you know something like that every week. But you do that. You allow for you know, more obscure. Yeah, when we did the indie show stuff like that, like the Sega stuff. You know, I'm like Sir Joel. I'm somebody who I think our generation of gamers were just brought up different, and there's a lot of great stuff out there that just gets ignored, and this show gives it some spotlight. So I like that a lot. I mean, I loved the fact that you guys did the shoot 'em up show. Do you know what I mean? Shoot 'em ups are amazing. Shoot 'em ups are some of the best games ever made. And if you turn around to somebody and say, "I think Thunder Force 3 is better than the best Zelda game," they will laugh their heads off, and they won't have even played the shoot 'em up. You know what I mean? So for me. That's why I think that's what I think the show's you know got a lot of interest for me anyway. That's why I enjoy watching it even when I'm not on it.
All right, wonderful. And you
How
know
about
that's what we do. That's we try to make sure that everybody has an experience, and we share the experience that not other people have experienced as well. You were about to say, John. Go ahead.
I was about to ask what are some of your favorite episodes so far? I mean, doesn't have to be whether you were part of it or not.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I love the first episode I did with you guys, the Sega Nintendo one, because it kind of gave at the time, and I'm still doing it, but I have been really deep digging into that era, and it gave me a platform to discuss that with you. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the shoot 'em up episode as well, just because it was great to see you guys, you know, get into stuff when, you know, like when Miss I was talking about Steel Empire and you know, games like that were fantastic. But the indie episodes brought some fantastic you know, games to light. I get a lot of that from you chaps as well. I get you know, there's a lot of games that I might not consider playing until you guys highlight it. Like Sir JDM put me on to Sanitarium when we did. I think that was the horror show.
Yes.
And I loved it. You know what I mean? It was a great game. I tend to do that. To be fair, a lot of recommendations you guys put forward, I'll either, you know, buy and play, or buy and play at a later date. So yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's been loads. I just probably I take the episodes I don't really get that involved with are the handheld stuff, because I'm just not into handheld gaming. I like, you know, I just like the gaming on a big screen and to have a big meaty feel to it. So but yeah, there's some of my favorite, or definitely some of the most memorable ones as well.
Yeah.
The most one of the things that I remember with Sir Dan is when the time Sir JDM knows this. When the time he dissed Ares.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I'm like,
That was the that
how
was
dare you
the gaming myth episode last
the
year.
gaming myth episode. Yeah.
Yeah, when that, when basically, yeah. So to me, Ares or Aerith, whatever you call her. Spoiler alert for anyone who's not played Final Fantasy VII. She dies. Okay. And, and her, and her
Very
death,
early in the game.
very yeah. Well, about what? About a quarter of the way in, a third of the way in, maybe third of the way in.
Mhm.
And her death, it left me like a wet sponge compared to the Fantasy Star deaths. You know what I mean? It was pathetic. It were because Ares in the or Aerith, whichever, in the Final Fantasy VII game she was just a spare part. She was just a pretty little innocent girl. That's great, but she was just like a spare part. Whereas I'd played Fantasy Star years earlier, and the character you started out the game for, who was essentially like your sister, died in Fantasy Star 2, and then in Fantasy Star 4, which was probably done better. Fantasy Star 2, it still hit, but it was quite an archaic game, so it didn't go into the depth. But in Fantasy Star 4, you built this relationship with this this sexy Obi-Wan Kenobi woman. Okay. So you know what I mean. So it were like because bear in mind I played it as a school kid. It were like I used to have a school teacher called Mrs. Potter who was my maths teacher. She were sexy. She were, and so she were like it were like you formed this bond with the sexy Obi-Wan Kenobi school teacher type, and she was tough. She was built up to be the biggest baddest hunter on that in that solar system. And then she bites it. So that hit me like boom. So then when you play Ares, oh man, what are you guys? What are you?
obviously Sir Dan is a Tifa guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's low key. I think everybody is. It's just that everybody's just riding along with the fact that everybody's hyped about Aerith, but Aerith, whatever. But yeah, everybody's a Tifa guy. They just don't want to say it out loud. Yeah.
Tifa, Tifa.
Loki, everybody is a Tifa guy. My dick says Tifa, but my heart says Aries.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. I'll just run through all of these games real quick, and then we'll head off with Miss I. One Piece Odyssey.
Oh, nice.
Right here. Oh, let's just put it there. And Grand Blue Fantasy Relinked. We got Unicorn Overlord for the
I still have to get that. I hear really good things about that one.
Persona 3 Reload.
Nice. Have you tried that yet, Sir Joe?
Eiyuden Chronicle, the spiritual successor for Suikoden, apparently.
Yeah, Dan was asking if you've tried the Persona 3 Reload yet.
I tried the Persona 3, the original. Still in plastic. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
Eiyuden,
I still have to go through. It's on Game Pass, actually.
It's in Game Pass. We got Monarch for the PlayStation 5. And speaking of indie going commercial, Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars. There you go.
And of course, this big guy, and thank you for Sir Joel for bringing this home. Star Ocean, the second story, the collector's edition. This is the Star Ocean
cool.
Second story R. Yeah, the collector's edition right here.
That
And
one
yeah,
really became rare already, Job. You're holding on to a little piece of treasure right there. I don't think you can find the collector's edition online anymore.
no one's gonna. I think everyone's just holding on onto it before they sell it after a few months.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm trying to buy the just the actual game in
Uh-huh.
Amazon. It's on sale apparently.
Oh, cool.
Because hell, I'm going to open this one. So let's move now to Miss I. What you got for the class? Show and tell.
Oh, I don't think you have your volume on, Miss Eileen. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No
So
worries.
I just learned upon getting home on this episode that we are doing show and tell, so I just grabbed everything I could. So let me start with what I got from the recent Back to the Culture mini event that we had last month at Green Hills Shopping Center, the Promenade Building. These are my recent acquisition. They are so small I couldn't hold them up. Wait, there you go. Can you see that?
Yep. Very nice. Oh, Rhythm
So,
Heaven. Very cool. Very cool.
The
so
Incredibles, Terminator.
Terminator 2 for Game Boy, Rhythm
Oh, yeah.
Heaven for DS, and which one is this
Nice.
one at the lower left?
The Mario with the 6 golden coins. I
Oh,
forgot
there
the
you go. Nice.
the
Good
English
choice. Good
translation.
choices.
So these are what I got from the event, and I actually missed on one game on the GBA called the Super Dodgeball. I really love that game, but I was going around the event area and trying to maximize my small budget, and when I got back to the booth, it was already gone.
No.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, Miss Eileen. You see something you like, you get it right away because somebody else is going to get it
Buy
after
now,
you.
regret 3 days. Buy never, regret 3 years.
Yes, man. Miss Hino got it perfect. Yes, there you go.
So I'm gonna show. It's really random collections. Sir Dan might appreciate this. Let me, in order.
All
I
right.
have
let's see what you got.
these are all part of my collections, not
Mm.
recent acquisition, but I just since it's show and
Oh, the
tell.
Dragon Age series.
Dragon
Nice.
Age games.
Good
I have
choices.
all 3 games, and I wish I was a reader because I saw Miss Hino's Skyrim book earlier. Dragon Age also has their own books, but I am so lazy reading them. It would be a nice part of my collection, but I really don't make me read. Please, no, don't.
Wait, what's your impression on the new Dragon Age game?
I'm excited. I'm excited as a Dragon Age fans. I understand some people hate it. There's some backlash, but as a fan, I like it. It's my bias. I like it.
Yeah.
And also
Part of the
random thing.
show. So, ladies and gentlemen, part of the show is getting Sir Dan's approval and pissing off Sir Viraj.
Oh, we don't
So we
And
so we
something-
so we try to get the approval of Sir Dan by trying out some of the games that he usually plays.
Mhm.
And in contrast, we like pissing off Sir Viraj with the
Oh,
things
yeah.
that he doesn't
You know,
really like.
One of the sub goals of every Timeless Gamer show is that we're gonna egg Viraj on until he blows his top.
So I'm gonna go really quickly because these are I really grabbed everything. I love this old Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear
Solid
Solid.
application.
There you
And
go.
it's
Yes,
Sir JDM
very
likes that.
good.
Black Label.
Black Label.
Black-
Nice.
Table Metal
Nice.
Gear
Nice.
for the PlayStation 1.
Looks pretty good.
These are I'm not sure if I've said this before, but I also love Kingdom Hearts. So I haven't, as you know, I don't have a PS3 or PS4, or PS5. So I only have the old games. So I have the first
Oh.
one.
Hmm.
Still in
The
plastic.
Yes, you can see the prices on Data Blitz. And I have the PSP one, Birth by Sleep,
Now,
Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Birth by Sleep. Yeah.
and the Game Boy again, not Game Boy, the DS games. I
oh,
believe
nice. Good.
these two you could not play on the PC versions or the other releases. They're just shown as movies.
Decoded.
It's the
Once decoded, and what is that? What's the other one?
Decoded, and I still don't know how to pronounce this. 358/2.
365?
Yes,
I call
just
I call it
I just have
365.
to pronounce this thing. It's this the one with the number.
The one with the number.
The one with the numbers.
The one with Roxas.
And they also got the 3D one.
Yes,
Drop dead
Drop.
drop dead
Hey.
dangerous.
Or just what?
Dream drop distance.
There you go. That's it. Dream drop distance. There you go.
Dream
Oh,
drop
nice. This version, the Sands of Time. Excellent.
Yes.
I got this from Amazon US.
Yes.
This was years ago. It was sold for $5,
Oh yeah.
and
of time.
the seller wasn't able to put a shipping price. So the seller said, "Oh, you have to pay for shipping," and then they said, "No, sorry, it's my fault. I'll ship it to you for free."
There
So
you
that
go.
for
Nice.
$5.
For free. Oh,
The
okay.
nice thing about that one,
Mathematically.
the nice thing about the Sands of Time, the very first one, is that Jordan Mechner, the actual creator of the Prince of Persia, was involved with developing the Sands of Time, the first game of the series. Really good, the really good rendition, really good update of Prince of Persia. There you go. Mhm.
Just last two, very quickly. Sims
Oh.
2 Double Deluxe. I know I share the same sentiment with other Sims players that this is the only one that is, well, of course Sims 1 and then this one as well. You could not play this on modern computers without the CD because it's not released in modern systems. I hope EA please release the Sims 2. I'm not sure why you don't. You would have more
Hell
money,
no.
and you like money, take our money. Like the Futurama meme, take my money. And last one, this one, the Hitman collection.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yes.
Nice.
Where am I?
Mm-mm.
So it has the first, second, third, and fourth game.
Mm.
I think this is only in the UK because I don't know if this was released in the US. This is Peggy. I don't think the US
Ah.
has released a collection like this.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad this was produced. Because I like Hitman games, and you start out playing stealth, and then you go Rambo on the second half of the stage.
Yes,
Stealth is optional always.
Miss Eileen's gaming style is exactly the same as mine.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah. I don't have time for this. It doesn't count as having been discovered if nobody's alive to have discovered you.
Yes.
That's all I could.
We would like we would like to introduce another segment to the show. Miss I ain't got no time for this.
There you go. Yes. I would vote for that. I would vote that part of the show in definitely. Ain't nobody got time for this.
I can't think
You know
about.
what I do you know what I do in Hitman games? I make
Uh-huh.
it look like the forensics people are trying to solve something because I always leave the body the enemies like with my initials.
Oh my
When-
gosh. Okay. That's serial killer thinking, JDM.
I was gonna say
Psychotic.
serial killer thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I always
I'm gonna have
use
to do that going
like
forward
the,
now.
I always use the rat poison to eliminate the enemies.
Oh my gosh, and MO word.
All right.
My gosh. Okay.
This is from a criminal
Um,
minds fan, so
I didn't know it was among serial killers here. What can I say?
We have all right. So let's answer a few questions from the peeps. This question coming from Sir Jazz of G3. If you can pick a new title or name for Timeless Gamer Show, what name or title would it be? Just a little bit of a side note. When we tried to rebrand the show, we had this poll of, for the masses to vote on which title should we go with, and we have a few suggestions that the people voted for. The Timeless Gamers actually came from Sir JDM, if I remember correctly. so, so, how about you guys? if it's up to you, what would you like to call the show? How about Sir Dan?
Cool. I have no idea, mate. Probably. God, I have no, I have no idea at all, mate. Probably. What do I like? What do I
Something
hate?
random.
Stop playing crap Nintendo games.
Okay.
How's that?
That's a good approach to it. Yeah, definitely. That
Like
would
a
be a
smear
good title.
campaign.
How about Sir Joel?
Oh, I mean, I love the title, Timeless Gamer Show. It just encompasses everything that we do. It encapsulates every thought that we have in terms of gaming. And it's not just, the gaming. It actually covers, popular culture as well. So I would not change it into anything. But if I was forced to change it into something, I'd probably say uh, I don't know. Talks about maybe the Weekend Warriors or something like that. Just where we
The
go
Weekend
and
Warriors.
we go crazy every weekend and enjoy ourselves with whatever we've been saving up for the whole week 4, something like that. I don't know.
Well, bearing in mind the normal length of the show, what about the always late gamers?
Oh, that's that. Yeah, we can do that. That's true. That's true.
How
Well, they're-
about
they're-
his eye?
I came from work and my brain is still fried. I couldn't think positively at the moment.
That's a good title. I like that. I like that.
My creative
How
just
about Inu?
Backlog warriors or backlog fighters. Since we have an infinite amount of backlog.
Backlog quest. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how that translates with Filipinos, but backlog warriors might imply a few sexual innuendos.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It does in Britain.
Maybe
anyway.
that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a good
Backlog
thing.
warriors.
I mean, backlog kind of rhymes with betlog in Tagalog, which is the word for
Family jewels.
male testicles. But yeah, it'll work.
Really
If it's
famous
up to
gamers
me,
right
okay.
now.
Because there's another because there are apparently when we did Timeless Game, there's someone called there's a YouTube channel actually who calls himself Timeless Gamer, and
Yeah.
just to avoid the confusion, we had to change it to Timeless Gamers Show because most people calls us Timeless Gamers anyway because there's a lot of us. It's not just one person. So okay, so Timeless Gamers Show. If it's up to me, if we are going there, I don't know, joystick jackers or jacking joysticks maybe. How about Sir JDM?
No, he's disqualified. He's the one who gave
brought up
Timeless
the show,
Gamers.
the one
You can't
who
rename it.
If it's that timeless gamers, it's could be video game support group or
Video
something like
game
that.
support group,
We
yeah.
always do our rants.
That'll work.
But-
Yeah.
It's like a pop culture support group where we rant
what
about
them? What about
movies.
Sorry, Dan, you were about to say.
the Chrono Trigger traumatized.
Oh my god.
Because you guys have got me through some stuff. I tell you, you've helped me get through the Chrono Trigger trauma that I have experienced.
Well, yeah. The fact is, to bring it all home, we may have gone different directions in terms of the name, but we kind of like Timeless Gamer Show Jazz, so we're probably gonna stick with it for the long haul. I like it, and unless somebody says otherwise, or the majority of our readers or our listeners say that they want to rebrand, no, we're just gonna keep Timeless Gamers because we enjoy the name. It's who we are, and Yeah,
It sounds classy.
it's classy. Yeah, very true. Very true.
And we already registered the domain for
Yeah,
that.
and that's
So
true. We already spent money for it too.
Yeah. And you guys know how dirty we can get anyway.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we don't have to make it so obvious.
Yeah.
We should be shameless gamers.
All right.
All right.
Another question here coming from Serchino of G3.
Mm.
If you could add something to the Timeless Gamer show, what would it be? If you want to add something, I mean that's the thing. We don't want to keep adding on to something because we don't have the time.
I've got no time for that.
We ain't no got that time for that. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss I, what do you want to add? Ain't no. So we're gonna add Miss I's
honestly, Miss
segment.
Miss
Nobody got time for that.
Miss Eileen's proposed segment of "Ain't Nobody Got Time for That" would be a good
Ain't nobody
part
got time
because
for that.
of the fact that as timeless gamers, we try to get through as many games as we can, and there may be
don't
a
have any
point
time
where exactly with Miss Eileen's suggestion of what would be a good way to optimize your time for particular games. So that would be a good way. That would be a good addition.
So-
like maybe
So
tips
for
and tricks.
example, from the Nintendo Direct that we did,
Mm.
you got Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. You got you got the Ace Attorney.
Mm.
You got the Legend of Zelda, where she's the main character.
Yes.
If we're going to ask Miss I, what game that you don't have any time for that?
Ace Attorney, definitely.
You would
Ace
not have
Attorney.
time for Ace Attorney? Oh, okay, because it involves a lot of
Okay.
reading.
Lots of reading, and you have to. Because I have the Ace Attorney games on the 3DS, and it's a fun game, but I really have got no time for that. Trying to find it.
So that's the thing. So she also she'll describe the game, but she'll always finish it with, "I just don't have any time for that." That's the segment that we would like to add. How about Sir
Okay.
JDM?
JDM, what segment would you
one
like
that
to
you want to
add, if ever?
I think we do this in the earlier episodes, but I think we need to also add news, like current
Oh,
gaming news or
yeah.
pop culture news.
That's true.
Maybe
That's true.
we could add it back to the show where we
Mhm.
do some, like, a quick recap of the gaming news or anything that has to do with pop culture, so we could talk
Good
about
point.
it
Good
really,
point.
just really quick, like
I like it. I like
like
it.
a 60-second segment, right?
Hmm. That's good. I like it.
Like,
I like that too.
so do we have to give? So one of the things that one of the main reasons why we stopped doing that is because
Mm.
when we do the news, like just the headlines, we
Mm.
tend to offer our opinions, and sometimes
Yeah.
we can get really heated about it. Kind of brings most of the.
It shouldn't be
kind
just
of
a
brings the-
straight news segment.
yeah.
Like no opinions, no nothing. Like maybe
No opinions.
yeah, just no opinions. 2 minutes. Biggest news of the week. Biggest gaming news of the week. Blam 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 blam. Okay, that's it. And then if we are going to discuss them in length, we can actually do it as different episode on it. A solid episode on a particular bit of news. But
Square
Bit of
Enix
news.
That's a
filed
good
for bankruptcy.
idea.
That's a
How
headline.
about Miss Hinu? If you wanna add something to the show, what would it be?
I actually do agree with the news thing, but mine is like the most disappointing gaming related
So-
news that you've heard throughout the week or something like that. Something very polarizing. Or if you just a rage segment for
Rage
people.
segment.
Oh.
That'd be good. I like that.
A rage segment.
Yeah,
What would we call? What would we call that? What would we call that?
Timeless
Grinding
raging.
my gears.
Rants. Mm-hmm.
rants.
Mm-hmm.
Ro- what do we call that as gamers? Rage quit.
Rage quit, you know.
Yeah.
Right. How about Sir Dan? If it's up to you, what if there's something you want to add? What would it be?
I would actually. I'd like to. I were going to suggest at one point doing this, and it's something that when I get back to doing the Sega Mega Masters, hopefully in a few months, I'm intending to do. And I'd actually like to add a little challenge section. I think for every so often to have just a small, like arcade style games where we all set a challenge and like go for an high score or go for a one credit run and just play games and have a laugh that way. Because I think featuring the games, and whereas we're all playing towards a challenge can make for a laugh.
We got a comment here from Sir Marlon. The most forgettable podcast episode. I'm guessing this is unforgettable episode that he meant. What he meant was a debate between Sir Derek and Sir Dan about Chrono Trigger, because that was his favorite. It was Sir Derek's favorite game. When we did that episode, actually, yes, it's one of the actually for me, it's one of our for me anyway. It's one of my memorable episodes as well. When we had Sir Derek here, trying to defend Chrono Trigger
Valiantly defend.
valiantly.
It's only his favorite game because he's not played better games, of which there are many. So
I'm not going to say it's his favorite game. It was his first role-playing game that he ever played.
Exactly.
He doesn't really have that much of a comparison, really.
But I enjoyed that because I've grown to hate Chrono Trigger with a passion over the years because it's just so it's just not all that. You know what I mean? I've just games with I have a this is me. This is definitely a me problem. But I have there's so many amazing, wonderful games out there, and a few games take all their highlights. If you go to a JRPG group, all people talk about is Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII, and all the same shit. And there's so, like you've shown today, Joe, you've highlighted a load of JRPGs that are great at JRPGs. So I like to give these other games spotlight. And Chrono Trigger fans, well, I've spoke about, and they're just obsessive, they're crazy, and they build this game up into something it's not. So I loved the therapeutic value of that episode.
Speaking of people who just reviewed Chrono Trigger just recently, Miss Hinu, how would you like to defend Chrono Trigger?
What? What
can you say about Chrono Trigger?
Hang on. I'm not gonna defend Chrono Trigger. I'm a Chrono Cross person.
There we go.
All right. So let's put it this way: how does it compare to Chrono Trigger?
Hating on Chrono Cross.
This girl knows her stuff. This girl knows Chrono Cross is better.
Oh, she does know this. She does know her stuff. So how does it compare with Trigger though? Does it even Chrono Cross gets some flack saying it has no business being called the sequel for Chrono Trigger.
I do understand that. I do understand what their criticisms are, and my opinion is coming from someone who played Cross before Trigger. When I played Trigger, I understood its charm, but to me, the time travel aspect of it isn't really meshing well with each other. It's like we have a prehistoric age, we have a super futuristic age, and I can't seem to connect everything narratively. And I think that was one part that okay, fine, we can travel to random periods, but As I mentioned in one of our former episodes, I think Historia, another JRPG with the time travel aspect, I think that's a title that really used the time travel mechanic to their advantage. Chrono Trigger was a bit over the place, I would say. It's like maybe we needed just a quirky character for the prehistoric age. Maybe we need a robot for the futuristic. So
Thank you. Thank you for saying
it's
what
more on the
needed to be said.
whimsical
Thank
side.
you. Thank you.
No, oh no, I'm gonna be part of the gang where that's bashing Trigger.
Welcome to the
No,
club.
no.
Yeah.
It is also one of the trope here in the Timeless Gamer Show. For some reason, we always go back to Chrono Trigger. We always go back to Star Wars.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
Eh,
know, it's it's. I like to see that. I like to see the like say Chrono Cross. A lot of people hate on Chrono Cross, and that's what I don't get because it's I compare Cross to Trigger, and I prefer Cross. It has been a while since I played Cross. Like I played it originally years ago, but I don't get when people kind of the put Cross down as a bad game and Trigger as a
yeah.
masterpiece. I can't understand where they're coming from. I can't understand that even if you prefer Trigger to Cross, Cross is still a good game, and I don't see Trigger as a masterpiece. So, but that is just my opinion. But it's very nice to hear that you think similar.
Thank you. And I'm also glad to hear other people who prefers Cross versus Trigger since it's a pretty common opinion among the RPG groups that Trigger is like the best RPG and whatnot. So it's refreshing to hear other opinions.
Um, Actually, I'm one of those people who also played Cross before Trigger, and
Mm.
I'm like, so I only came up with a well informed opinion anyway, and I'm like, yep. Uh, the point the point being, Chrono Cross has no business being called the sequel to Trigger because
Mm-mm.
take out the references, the game will stand on itself anyway.
I agree.
Um, they were just put there just so that because you use the term chrono, the title in there, so it has to tie up to Trigger for some reason or in one way or another. They didn't really talk to you. They didn't really interact with you. They just referenced some of the events
Mm.
from Trigger. That did that even meant anything to the overall story of Cross? Not really. Um,
Yeah.
so we got another question here coming from Sir Romel. Um, he says, "What has so Sir Romel asks, what has been on your minds that you guys hope to share with listeners or those who are watching the show? Hmm. What has been on your minds that you guys hope to share?" So basically, what he's saying here is, um, what do we want to impart the watchers and the listeners while we do this show for the last 3 years or so? Sir JDM,
For
like
me,
basically what he's saying is, what exactly do we want to impart these people?
yeah, actually, the main goal for this show is to educate gamers or even non-gamers about um, what's been happening in the gaming scene or like the history of video games. Um, we would like to impart our knowledge, like our experiences with the games that we have played, or things in general like pop culture, movies, books. We've been doing reviews of books, movies, we're trying to share our experiences or our history with those topics to other people, to share what impact it did to our lives or our past. So I think also learning things from other people, that's also important because um, like for example with the Chrono Trigger episode, and there are a lot of things that like we always focus on this one thing, but we don't widen our um like our minds to other things or other games. So I think what the timeless gamers are doing is we're trying to um get insights from other people to for us to learn more about um the video games or movies or books that we are trying to talk about, something like that. And it's always good to um, talk with people who had these other thoughts of these things.
Right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. How about to Sir Dan? Uh, because Sir Dan is one of the hosts of the Sega Mega Masters, along with along with Sir Viraj, Sir Rick, and Sir Steve. With Sir Dan, especially with Sir Dan and Sir Viraj, they are the ones who represent the Sega titles. And to those who are listening while watching us now, um, that are not that who are way beyond the Sega years. It's been over 20 years since Sega's been defunct as a console developer anyway. So it's important of representation that Sega still has that Sega still has to be represented by those people who lived through those years, especially during the console wars. Especially us in the Philippines, because we know we were not really into Sega at the time. Back in the
Yeah.
90s, we were in Nintendo. So, how about her? How about her, Dan? So, what would you like? Uh, uh, in behalf, I mean, speaking in behalf of Sir Viraj, what would you like to impart to the watchers and to those who are listening
Yeah, I
when we
mean,
are conducting the show?
I hope that on top of what you've said, that both me and Viraj give our listeners and viewers an alternative angle to approach gaming from. Sega's a big part of that, but I wouldn't just put that down as a. I mean, I'm a Sega fan. I love Sega, but I love Sega because I'm a gamer who has played a hell of a lot of games from Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, Amstrad, Amiga, arcades, GX 4000s, Lynx, and Sega was is still my favorite. Sega offered me the most well-rounded and exciting experience. I think for me that's the key thing. Excitement's not valued as much in gaming now as it used to. It's all about story and about depth and about these big worlds. And sometimes it's like sex. These stories and big worlds of that. It's like finding a perfect wife. Well, being a Sega guy, sometimes I just want a 20-minute shag. Sometimes I just want a bit of excitement in my world. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about arcade style gaming. And obviously, without a doubt, people can say stuff about other companies and Nintendo and that, but Sega ruled the arcades. I've not, because of my health, I've not been to the arcades for a while. But last year I went to the arcades 4 times, and Sega arcades are everywhere. You know what I mean? And they don't. You look. There's a Data East one, a Sega one. You know what I mean? A Nintendo one, a Sega one. And so for me, I would love our viewers and listeners to detach themselves a little bit from the mainstream IGN perception of what is great in gaming. I'm not saying that stuff like Zelda and that ain't great, because it is, but it is only one angle of what is great in gaming, and I hope that our show gives them the other angles to look at and try, because I just think it's forgot about. You know, I look at IGN's greatest 100 games ever, and you've got Zelda, Mario, Red Dead Redemption, all great games, but you've not got one Sega game, no one Sega exclusive on there. There's not one Sonic game. There's no Sega arcade games like Outrun and Afterburner. Do you know what I mean? These games built the fucking 80s. Do you know what I mean? This is what is so. No one in the fucking world, sorry, or in any arcade I went into, stood fighting to get on Mario or Donkey Kong. They were viewed as okay, fun, good fun platformers, but everybody were fighting each other to get on Afterburner. Everybody wanted to play on Afterburner. If you sat in a cab and you flew off and you blasted, and it were exciting. Same with Space Harrier. Yeah, I mean, same with other games like Street Fighter 2. So I hope that our listeners, I just hope the broaden out. We give them something to broaden out and try a bit more. And so JDM does that a lot with his PC games, and Miss I does as well. You know, we like strategy games and stuff like that. So it's you know, so Joel with his obscure fishing games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So and we know we've got perverts listening. So Sir Joe gives perverts good pervert games. So it's, you know, if you want to see tits and ass, you're not playing Mario, you're not playing Zelda here. You're playing something Sir Joe recommends.
I step out for a moment, and we're talking about tits and ass here in Mario. How the heck did the conversation get to this point?
Mario's tit and ass, though.
Okay. Dan.
Sorry.
We are talking about speaking of which, Miss I, in regarding with Sir Romel's question, as one of the co-hosts here in the show, and one of the female co-hosts in the show, what are the message that you're trying to send to the listeners and to the watchers of the show, especially for the last 3 years?
I would say for gamers, especially younger ones, do not be afraid to try older games, even if the graphics looks old and the controls might feel clunky. Even if you don't get into the game, just give it a try. So maybe one game would open your world to a new genre or a new franchise, and you'd be a fan of something and enjoy a new line of games that you have never heard of before. So I hope you're able to show you new games that you haven't heard before and actually try them and enjoy them.
I think that's a great message, because I think a lot of retro games are brilliant. There's a lot of 10 out of 10 retro games that have a accessibility hurdle, because they don't have tutorials and they don't hold your hands. So I think that's a great message, mate.
Mm-hmm.
How about Miss Sinu, as one of the latest additions to the show? What would be your driving message that you want to send out to the listeners and to the watchers of the show?
Messages, really, I have several things. First, I do agree that we need to give older games a chance. Whenever people are saying, "Oh, I don't know what to play," or like, "Oh no, what if they take down the digital libraries and stuff, and I don't own the physical media?" Then that only means that there are tons of other games that you can try out from the previous consoles, from now defunct developers and companies. So there's a whole world of gaming that's available for you to explore. Second thing would be play games because reviews aren't the gospel. Sure, you
Yes.
might see a review that's bashing this game, whatever, and then, but when you tried it, maybe you'll end up liking it. So every time I see like a negative review for like a show, a book, a game, I normally do not believe it right away. I want to experience the medium first before making a judgment. And once you like tune into that mindset, um, who knows? You might be pleasantly surprised that um, what is something that's considered to be bad for others is like a hidden gem for you. What else? Uh, Game careers. I'm assuming that since the gaming industry is much bigger right now, a lot of like members of the youth would like to join in the industry. So if there are like any parents there who has a kid who wants to join the game development industry, it's not just about playing games, testing games. There are so many career paths that are available. Like, well, the basic ones are like the animation side, the 3D side. We have like the programmers, the developers. But on the flip side, we also have the writers. We have the marketing people. We have the musicians who compose the music. Uh, of course, we have the singers who can contribute to the soundtracks of the games. We have like the managers. So many available avenues for people who would like to get into the industry. We have the translators. So please do. Maybe if you can do like a little bit of the research. It's not just playing games and whatnot. The gaming industry is a $1 million industry and maybe is one of the most high earning industries um, amongst entertainment. So your kid can have a career in it. So uh, I have one more here. Ah, every time we listen to gaming news and whatnot, of course we hear some controversies. Uh, I do hope that people wouldn't blame the developers necessarily because others attack the developers as a whole. Sometimes it's beyond their control, sometimes it's upper management, sometimes it's like the PR team who's, or just a sole member that's having this bad opinion. And what I hate is that it's the whole company, the whole team that's being bashed by the others. And as someone who worked for the gaming industry before, uh, developing games is not an easy thing. Of course, I do feel bad every time I see a game that's like flopping because the developers didn't have enough budget or not enough time. I do understand why the product ended up being like that, but you know, give more grace to the developers and really focus on who's actually the one at fault for that. So that's those are the things that I want to put out there.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss Hinu. How about Sir Joe? So the question is, um, what is the message that you want to convey to the listeners and to the watchers of the show, especially for the last 3 years?
Let's see. To the listeners and the watchers of the show for the last 3 years, I already gave my thanks to everybody. I wanted to make sure to reiterate that. Thank you very much to those of you who have stayed with us, who have discovered us, and who plan on sharing us with everybody that you know, because we appreciate reaching a wider audience, and we appreciate everybody who's been here, old and new. I guess my message to the audience is gaming is gaming. We all enjoy what we enjoy. We all know what it is that we like to play. But like Miss Hino says, do not confine yourself to what you already know. There's a huge world out there of gaming, not just retro, not just modern, all the offbeat games, all the paths not taken, everything that is out there. Give it all a try. You don't know what you don't know, and if you try it, you like it. That's one more thing that you can add to your library, that you can honestly say at the end of your life, I enjoyed this, and my experience has been richer because of it. So that is my advice. Do not confine yourself. Reach out, try out everything. Make sure that it is something that you can honestly tell yourself, I gave it a fair shake. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it. I can honestly give my opinion on it. You don't just confine yourself to that one genre and say everybody else is, not a real gamer. No, that's a load of bull. That's a load of bull, because honestly, the hardest core gamers that you know are the people that you'll ever get to know are the people that play the games that you don't play, the games that you've never tried. So give it a shot. Get a fair shake and have an honest opinion of it based on what you actually play. And that's one of the messages here in Timeless Gamer Show. We want to make sure that everybody has a taste of everything that you guys haven't tried, something new. And we hope to be able to keep doing that for you for the foreseeable future. As long as you guys want to listen to us, as long as you guys want to watch us, we will always keep doing it for you. We're here for you, the audience. That's my message.
Another question here from Sir Romel. What's the most important lesson or lessons you have learned from the show so far? If I'm going to answer this first. I have biases. Okay, I have biases to the games that I played. It's no secret from these guys. Okay,
Yes.
I do JRPGs. That's it, really. Okay, turn based as much as possible.
Mm.
If it's action role playing game, there should be at least there should be at least a party in there. If you're all alone, nah.
Mm.
And of course, some tits and ass, of course.
Yes, of course. That's a
icing
given
in
for
the cake.
you.
That's a given for me. But doing this show for this long, especially with Sir Dan issuing some challenges here and there, I I grow. No, that's the wrong term to describe it. I have learned to be more tolerable
Mm.
to other genres out there, and I found myself um, ranting more. I learned that I've grown more cynical throughout the years that I didn't realize. Um, like especially with so for example, like when Sir Dan said, "Okay, try try Fantasy Star 4," which I did, and then how does that compare to Trigger, which I did play Trigger, and then he said, "Okay, try Lufia 2." And up until now, I'm still finding a lot of things I like to say about Lufia 2 in terms of story. Oh, that's it. Oh, sorry. That's the thing. Um, Sir Dan pointed it out that I'm a story guy. I wasn't. I never realized that I was a story guy until Sir Dan pointed it out. Why? Because like Sir Joe here, because we've been watching a lot of animes for the last few years, been reading a lot of manga, been reading a lot of novels. That with the with the varying sense of literacy and story progression, it kind of brings to my video gaming sensibilities when I'm playing a role playing game, especially with the dialogue. Like for example, if I say like even if I'm half asleep already, if a character says something weird or something way out of the ordinary, and I'm like, what? Like that's how I know that even though I'm already on a super state, a very super state, like a drunken state, like I'm very sleepy, I can still follow the story. Like I can still follow what's going on. So so if there's something like a weird dialogue, I would be the first one to raise an eyebrow and say, "What? What?" Um, that's how I would describe Lufia too. Like they spent way too much time on the dungeon crawling that the plot, the narrative falls really short. Uh, if Sir Dan's gonna ask me how am I finding Lufia too at the moment, that's that's how I would describe it.
Hmm.
How about Sir Dan? Lessons that you have learned.
Well, I mean, that's brilliant. Sets me up brilliantly, Joe, because I'm the flip side of that, because what you've just described there has given me the appreciation of other points of view to what I am. You know what I mean? So I didn't realize how much I was mechanically and gameplay based with my thoughts and feelings on games. And those games you've just described there are a perfect example. I don't particularly like Chrono Trigger because its dungeons are really simple and its combat's really simple. I love the Fantasy Star games because they've got more complex dungeons and gameplay to go with it. So that's a perfect and so if you would say to me what's the best two Super Nintendo JRPGs, bearing in mind I've finished over 70 JRPGs on the Super Nintendo, my two choices would be Final Fantasy V and Lufia 2. And that's because they've got the best gameplay. Like I say, I love the dungeons in Lufia 2. I love the fact that you can spend hours getting involved with all these puzzles, and it's to me it's very clever. I didn't really notice the narrative. I mean, I would say I didn't notice the narrative was that bad, but it didn't bother me. I was like, yeah, your friends save the world. It's a JRPG. So, I've learned about myself on the flip side, mate. And that's why I like it, because it gives it. If you and me agree that a JRPG is a good JRPG, then it must be because it satisfies a wide range of angles that we're coming from. So yeah, I've learned that, and I've learned that as well. You guys have taught me a lot about how the Filipino side of things were. So I've had an appreciation of that angle of things. I love the fact I love, like, some of your guys' obscure picks. Sir Joel's, I'm a Sega boy, and so Joel's getting me into Sega bass fishing. So it's that type of thing that I think is great. Sim Tower, those type of games. I should have played them back in the day, but I didn't. But now I've got them on my list to play. So it's getting an appreciation. Like I say, the flip side of the coin, and I've learned a lot about both myself and different angles of appreciation from all you gentlemen and gentle ladies.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Dan. How about Sir Joel? Lessons that you learned.
Lessons I've learned. Yeah, it's about the same as what everybody has given. Be a little bit more open-minded. Everybody's coming from a different point of view. Everybody's coming from a different set of experiences. And they might not necessarily be the same in terms of level that you've achieved. So my lesson here is the fact that if you are dealing with somebody brand new, if you're looking to share your experiences with somebody, do not discount their experiences right off the bat. Do not discount their experiences offhand, because of the fact that they've done their share of grinding, they've done their share of experiencing, and where you are coming from isn't necessarily the same place that they come from too. So it's exciting, actually. I like this joy of discovery of how everybody is coming from different places. It's a lesson that's lost nowadays in modern culture. I come from the era of Sesame Street, where cooperation is important. The word cooperation is not thrown around anymore. And I used to love that word, and I don't see that word around anymore. the fact that that word is so emblematic of my era, cooperation. I don't see that in modern gaming anymore, and that's the lesson I've kind of learned. Well, not modern gaming, but modern gaming culture. The fact is, everybody seems to think that their genre is the very best. Everybody wants to discount some other person's experience. No, the fact is, you want to cooperate with people and find out what you have in common and how you guys can work together to make things better for not just yourself, but for everybody involved. And not might not even be people who you actually are talking to at the moment. The things that I talk about here, I imagine, well, it's cliche. It's, it's from Gladiator. The things you do in life echo in eternity. The fact that we are putting stuff out here in our podcast and we are reaching people worldwide, we are reaching out and affecting somebody out there, and they listen to you. And you have to be careful because of the fact that you want to reach them and share yourself and have him share himself with you. So it's important to make sure that it's not just a podcast about sharing experiences. It's also a podcast about making sure that you reach out and touch somebody, not in a lewd way, but if it turns out that way, then that's cool too. I like how Miss Hito just snorted out of her nose. But yeah, the fact is, this podcast has turned out to be one of the very best experiences of my life. And the lesson I'm taking here is that I love how we are doing our very best to share the gaming culture to all parts of the world, and hoping that everybody takes away something good from it too. That is the lesson that that I have learned here in Timeless Gamer Show.
Thank you for that, Sir Joel. Speaking of Miss Hino, as another player who has a very set of strict preferences of genres, likes to play. What are the lessons that you have taken for this show?
Yeah, let me just go on a quick side note since Sim Tower was mentioned earlier. My brother liked it, so he's planning to play it sometime.
Yes.
It looked like something that he's used to playing. So thank you for mentioning Sim
I think
Tower.
you're gonna enjoy it. I think he's gonna enjoy it immensely. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy playing that too. So,
Mhm.
for the lesson, I actually remembered the first time you guys invited me as a guest for this podcast, and that was like the top PS2 JRPGs, and at that time I was like, oh no, I became so pressured because I always think that, oh no, I need to play this, I need to play that. Uh, I normally just play JRPGs and visual novels, so people would expect that I would know everything about JRPGs and visual novels, and that's not really the case. So when I went to your episode as a guest, I was somewhat relieved because I learned a lot of new stuff, and that I also learned that I don't really need to know everything about a certain subject. That's why we have a team here. We balance each other out for the areas that I don't necessarily have expertise in. There's the other team members that are there to, share their insights and whatever information they know about the game. Same would go for like the consoles. I'm not really that well rounded since it was mentioned earlier that Philippines is more exposed to Nintendo and Sony. So, hearing more about the games for like the Sega and other older systems is really refreshing. And I normally hang out with people that are close to my age range. So it's really nice interacting with people who live through different eras of gaming. So uh, even if we butt heads with the other panel members or the other viewers, I still think that at the end of the day we still all get along since we're all gamers at the end of the day,
Mhm.
casual, hardcore mobile gamer. We're just all gamers at the end of the day.
Good. Yep. Very.
Well said. Well said.
Mhm. And
Thank
yeah,
you for that.
and yeah, you may have disagreements with somebody, but again, the fact is, it's a good way to kind of stretch your limits, to kind of see somebody else's point of view, because your comfort zone is fine. You have a comfort zone. Everybody's got a comfort zone, but it kind of stretches your mind to be able to reach out to check out somebody else's point of view. It is a hallmark of maturity that to entertain ideas but not necessarily completely agree with them. And I've learned that also with Timeless Gamer Show. You might not completely agree with somebody else's thought process, but for you to understand how he thinks and where he's coming from is a great thing. And this show has kind of helped develop that in me as well. There you go. Mhm.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel and Miss Hinu.
Mhm.
It's also something to note about. Just because a game console's not available at that time in a specific place doesn't necessarily mean you will have to dismiss it. That you'll have to dismiss it and pretend that it didn't matter at all, just because you didn't experience it, just because it wasn't available to you,
Mhm.
just because one particular console is more popular or else, right? Um, it goes to show that um, in every parts of the world, in every country, there's a gaming system out there. Would that means the world to them, because that's where their childhood memories hailed from. They have their most fondest memories playing that game system. So, um, so like Nasina said, by the end of the day, we like what we like. We game we play we play what we play. We game what we game. All
Mhm.
gamers by the end of the day.
Yes. Mhm.
Miss I, lessons learned.
I would say the lessons that I've learned here in Timeless Gamers is that it is always my experience really here boils down to trying something out of your comfort zone and out of your preferred genres because like as Sir Dan's recommendation before Deus Ex, I like games where you play as a third person. I'm not really fond of first person games, but when I tried Deus Ex, I would say I was blown away just from the start of the game. I haven't progressed much, but just from the beginning, I was already captivated. So it's really nice to try different avenues and see which ones you like, and not judge a game from the cover. And just because it's not, I don't like that type of game. No, give it a try. Even if you don't like it, give it a try. And I just realized I'm still able to cope up with episodes despite not being I'm behind with gaming consoles, but I'm still able to cope sometimes. I'm just happy that I'm able to contribute to our podcast, even though my knowledge is, I would say, lagging or behind. And in that regard, I'm learning from your modern experiences, and that maybe I can experience for myself in the future.
Well, your point of view actually is very valuable to us, Miss Eileen, because of the fact that you are fresh in this and that you haven't really tried some of the other parts. Much like Miss Hinu, she is slowly learning about the new things, and we love seeing the joy of discovery happen in real time for both you, Miss Eileen, Miss Hinu, JDM, everybody. It's an amazing thing seeing somebody try something different and then it clicks inside of their head, it shines in their eyes, they have this little bit of excitement in their voice, then they say, I didn't know that, I enjoyed that part, and it's an amazing thing. And I guess that's the at the heart of it for us here in Timeless Gamer Show, the fact that we are sharing our experiences and that everybody's discovering something new despite the fact that it's old. Mhm. There you go. And we value that in you, Miss Eileen, and in you also, Miss Hino. Actually, we value that in everybody. That's a good thing. Mhm.
With Miss Ice game selections, sometimes kind of catches me off guard. Really, catches me by surprise with their selections. No, because like for me, because I'm
Mm.
limiting myself to JRPGs. If
Uh-huh.
you're gonna ask me about those titles, most of the time, 90% of the time, I know them. But with Miss I, Grim Fandango, the hell,
Zach and Cody.
where did that came from?
Zack and Cody.
Zack and Cody.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that horse game.
Oh
In
yeah.
the
I forgot what was the title of that, Miss Eileen.
Pocket Rocky on the
There it is.
Yeah.
Fuck.
yes.
what was that? Lucha Guacamole. What?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Guacamole. Yeah, that's
Guacamole.
it.
Guacamole.
Guacamole.
Guacamole. What I say? Lucha Guacamole. Stuff like that. So, you know, um, games that would just would just fly out of way over my head. Um, but then because when we do the show, when we describe a certain video game, we tend to show we tend to show the gameplay live, and that's the first time we actually see the gameplay, and that's when we realize, oh, okay, this looks good. This is
True.
uh, stuff like that. Um, how about Sir? JDM? Lessons learned.
Okay, so I might sit upright because I'm already leaning at the Takeshi's castle. for for me,
I thought you were gonna do
I've
that, Uncle
learned.
Roger. The fact that you have to put your leg down. All right, continue,
I
JDM.
and For me, I've learned several things like accepting other people's opinions with their gaming preferences,
Mhm.
and you need to open your mind with their thoughts and their experiences. But
Do we really
you
accept them?
somehow somehow you need to learn
Is there
to
a but?
you l- somehow need to also learn how to counter the tirades. Like I remember, was it Viraj who was kicking Pokemon to the ground? Then I suddenly mentioned about the train simulator game, and it it pissed them off or something like that.
Yeah.
Or that time when I said inverted controls are for the
I,
devil,
Oh yeah.
and
yeah,
and he went off on that.
The thing about it is this show teaches you to do banter.
yes,
It's a way for you to be able to train yourself in terms of like what somebody says, you reply, and the reply has to make sense. Has to make sense in the context of the conversation. So it's a very important skill to learn. To be able to banter with somebody and to keep the flow of the conversation going. Honestly, it's starting to become a lost art. And here in Timeless Gamer Show, we're hoping that that is something that we're transmitting to the audience. Mhm.
yeah.
Continue,
We
JD.
really need that dynamics in the show to make it more
Mhm.
interesting. And also, as what Miss Hina said, at the end of the day, it's just like friendly banters,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
like,
Mhm.
we're still friends after the show.
Mm-mm, yeah.
And another thing is that um you know how gamers are like, they we're only into gaming. We didn't really give we didn't really give credit to these developers,
Mm,
or the the writers or the composers. So I've learned that we also need to learn about them,
mhm.
the
Mm.
process on how they made the games, and give credit to them, because um i I have this thing on X or Twitter, that where I follow these developers, if they're in social media, or like gaming companies themselves. I always try to, if they require feedback or something like that, if they ask their audience, what did you feel about the game, I always try to um, give a minute or two to share my thoughts, just to give them like feedback or credit. You did a great job on this game. Or sometimes the composers, uh, I think I follow, um, what's his name, the composer for Silent Hill. He recently promoted the remake of Silent Hill 2, and he even composed or re-recorded the original soundtrack for the game. And I sent some tweet or something like that, and it really shows your support to your favorite games, something like that. So learn how to support your favorite developers by giving them feedback on their social media, like that, or the history of the games itself. Not just playing the game, but learning the process or the history of how it was made will also help you.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. Last couple of questions. This one coming from Sir Jomar. For everyone in the show who has participated in the TGS, how did the show impacted your life? I'll answer first. How so this is how bad it got. Okay. So if I say to my wife that we have a show on a Saturday, she will be so she'll be the one to say, okay, um, let's just do the chore, do the evening chores done. We'll settle the baby so that you can just do your stuff, right? So it got to the point that you know um, we had to adjust our routine just for me to do this show with you guys. How about Miss I?
Thank you, Commander.
I would say that the impact this show has made in my life is I've gotten more confident in speaking on cam. I would say my skills are getting developed even more, considering I'm an introvert that doesn't talk that much. And also, I would say, like just tonight, I had to plan my day so I could run off after work and jump onto the computer as I get home. I also would try to record on off days off when I'm not able to join live. So it's like, apart from other hobbies, I would plan my days ahead or around our shows sometimes. So that's how it impacted my life, I would say.
Right. Oop, I think okay. I thought you froze. How about Miss Sinu?
Um, on my end, I already been invited to several podcasts across various topics, and what's nice about my experience here is that normally when I get invited to a podcast, it's only one on one or there's only three of us. But here, since we have essentially like a panel, um, it's a nice way to bounce off ideas and hear opinions that are not necessarily the same with mine. So having more people is an interesting dynamic that I'm getting here right now. And um I'm trying to learn like the setup and whatnot every time that I'm coming here into the show. So I need to like put the tripod up, have some lights here, have some lights here, and fix whatever is on my background. So um, it's
Actually, what you have right now is
really
good.
fun.
Actually, hmm. I mean
I
your
need to
current
move a
setup
lot
right
of stuff.
now because your current setup before compared to now, this looks more professional.
Indeed.
Yeah, because I was just at the sofa before. I
Mhm.
just have a plain white background before, so I wanted to make things more presentable since now I'm part of a panel and yeah.
Thank you for that, Miss Hinu. Sir Joel.
Let's see. How has participating in the Timeless Gamer Show impacted my life? I learned how to think on my feet. Um, Whenever it comes to live presentations, I mean, I've always been kind of well, I began as as somebody who was not very good when it comes to sudden situations. The impact this show it has kind of helped me become a little bit more adaptable in real life as well, because of the fact that the show whenever the thing about the show is that it teaches you to be improvisational. In real life, it's extremely important for you to be able to adapt to situations as they come, and this show has contributed to that greatly, for me to be able to adapt to what people say at a moment's notice or tell me that needs to be done quickly. I adapt quickly, and this show has greatly contributed to that because of the fact that it allowed me it kind of fostered in me the idea that, all right, uh what you do is reaching out to a million people, and you'd better be good at it. So it's a good training ground, not just for speaking, not just for learning to do things quickly. It's a great experience overall, and I have to thank you for that, Joe. You wouldn't I wouldn't have learned all of this if it wasn't for the fact that you brought me on to this show. Thank you very much for that.
No worries, Sir Joel. Same. Back at ya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir JDM.
For me, it's all about the confidence. I I'm really someone who's very reserved, soft spoken, and um, being a panelist in this show really helped me um, speak out, show my ideas to people, and it really helped me a lot, even in the office. I learned how to talk. uh, Well, I could talk to my colleagues, but in a professional way as well. So there are no more reservations. If I need to say something, I say it without any um like any reservations. So if I mean it, I say it like that.
I can second to that. Um, because we here in the majority of us here in Timeless Gamer Show, we used to belong to this group before, and unfortunately, with Miss I and Sir JDM, they were they were one of the few people in that group that barely said anything, only because hardly anyone was talking to them anyway. And by doing the show, we thought of, okay, by bringing them into the show, that's a time that we that's a time when we discovered that, oh, they um they they are also gamers. That's why they are here in this group. They know their stuff in their own way. They have their own knowledge, they have their own skills, they have their own experiences on the games that they play. So why not bring them into the show so that we can promote them further to develop their communication skills, And a few episodes later, here they are. uh, with another question here from Sir. Oh, hi, Sir Lee. Coming from from G3. We already read Sir Chino and Sir Jazz's question. So if you have a question for us, Sir Lee, go on ahead. Sir Dan says, genuinely amazed to hear what. Oh, hang on. Genuinely amazed to hear that regards your adaptation, Sir Joel, you came across as a natural.
That's a good approximation of that. Very good. All right. As adaptation now, honestly, there were times when I would just freeze. I really wouldn't know what to do if something new comes up. I've learned something about life. Things rarely go according to plan. It's an old African saying. When man makes a plan, God laughs. And usually when you have a plan, what's the old saying? A plan never survives the very first punch. So the moment that you the moment that you encounter something different from what you planned, everything just goes out the window. And that's the nice thing about here at Timeless Gamer Show. It helped me learn how to adapt to different things quickly on the fly. And that moment of freezing, it's kind of lessened already. So I can't say that it's completely gone, but it's happened much less now. I can adapt, and I can make sure that whatever I adapt to, I do my very best at. Thank you very much for the compliment, Dan. It's much appreciated.
I thought he's going to quote something
Yeah,
about the
you had a good
A-team.
save earlier.
Mm-hmm. What
Another
was
one
that?
here.
What was that, JDM?
I thought you were going to quote an A-team quote or something.
Oh well, yeah. The A
Like
team
a
is
plan.
always endlessly quotable. I love it when a plan comes together.
There you go.
Yes.
Another one here from Sir Dan. All you guys speak excellent English and communicate excellently, better than me. All right. So fun fact to you guys who are listening. So originally we did the show in Filipino, in Tagalog, right?
Mhm.
But when we thought of expanding our reach globally,
Yeah.
because here's the thing, and this might be a rant, selling the show to Filipinos very difficult. The Filipinos are a hard sell
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
to do this show. Not a lot of Filipinos watches the show. We like as much as we'd like to advertise it uh, to the Filipino gaming community out there.
Mhm.
We don't really get that much of an audience. So so the move, the decision to do the show in English was to capture a better audience that
A wider
would
audience.
show us a little bit more appreciation
Mhm.
by reaching out to the non-Filipino gamers.
Mhm.
So right now, because we did the show in English through our audio versions of our episodes through Spotify and all of those audio streaming platforms, we have reached the European countries, North America, South America, and some of the countries in the Middle East here and there. All right. So
How many episodes did it take you to realize to shift languages?
yeah.
I mean, how many
Um,
episodes? How many episodes was Miss Inu asking? I think we did it.
So with Miss Hino, she did the PS2. She did 3DS twice.
No. Miss Hino is asking
No.
how many
Oh.
episodes did it take for us to realize to
Oh.
change it into an English
To
format?
change it, I
we did
think it was
Yeah.
season 6, maybe
Yeah, around that time. Yeah. Mhm.
around that
We
time.
decided. Yeah, we decided. The one thing we've learned about Filipinos is that they don't tend to buy homegrown goods unless somebody abroad has bought it and appreciated it. which is a weird thing about us Filipinos. Like, you make something new, if the people at home really don't buy it, but somebody abroad rants about it, and then Filipinos start clamoring for it. So we decided, why not? Lumpia is an average thing for everybody, but when somebody abroad says lumpia is the best Filipino food ever, then we buy lumpia. That's it.
Yeah, and even then, when we were on that previous group, there were
Yeah.
a lot of gamers there, but they refused to do the show with us.
Yeah.
They refused to. They refused to. They refused to do the show with us live in
Mm.
front of the camera, which
Yeah.
which is weird because they're supposed to be streamers, right? And but they cannot do the show on a weekend for some reason.
It's all
So we said,
right.
okay, we'll just look for people within the group who are also gamers, streamers, and who can also uh, carry themselves talking in English. So we can do so we can do the show. We can go global, and here we are. We got one last question here from Sir Jomar. Um, What does reaching this milestone mean to everybody in a personal level? What is your other plan going forward to reach more milestones for timeless gamers? I'll answer the second one. Just keep sharing it to the other to the non-Filipino audience. If the Filipinos won't buy it, maybe the foreigners might will. You know, typical business minded equity right there. As
Absolutely.
far as the first one, okay. Since doing this show till this day, up to this point, when especially when we have this, especially when we decide on a topic that we like there's no way of doing that particular episode unless you do some actual homework, meaning you need to play some games so that you can have a proper opinion, well opinionated discussion when you do the episode. So, but for example, when Sir Dan said, "Okay, let's do a shoot 'em up episode," right? Then that means, oh my god, I need to play some shoot 'em up games. When Sir Dan said, "Okay, let's do a Sega challenge," we subjected ourselves playing Sega. All right, and that's the thing. Especially with my current lifestyle right now. So I work 12-hour shifts at night from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And that's 4 nights in a row. So by the time I get home, I can only play like for at least an hour. Then I go to sleep. So I can go back there again.
You can
So I
still
can go
play.
so I can go back to that hellhole again.
Yeah.
So I can only play for at least an hour, right? So it's not like way before when we can play 2-3 hours and our bodies can still take some more, but nope, not this time. With my current work hours, with the baby here, I can only do so in even with my own YouTube channel. The only way that I can contribute to my YouTube channel is when I stream. With that 1 hour of gameplay, I just use that little time that I have. So just so that I have something to add to my own channel. 1 hour of gameplay, like for example, I'm doing Lufia right now. I only play 1 hour of Lufia, goes to my channel, go to sleep. That's it. It's only until when we do the show on Saturday, we talk for 3 hours, 4 sometimes. Then after that, I wait for the show to get rendered in YouTube. I download the shit, and then I edit it out as much as possible so I can upload it to the audio platforms like in Spotify. It goes on like that every week with me. So when we tend to when we tend to discuss some video game related topics, I tend to suggest, can we do something casual so that at least I have some time to play a few hours of the game before we head to the game specific topic. That's how things are with me right now. How about Miss I?
I would say that reaching this milestone, I feel like we're fortunate that we're able to reach a broad audience and that even at this milestone, people are still interested at what we are saying, imparting to them. Personally, I would say I'm glad to be able to contribute and that what I say matter and people value what I am trying to tell them. And I would say going forward, I hope I could still do as much as I can for the benefit of the show. That's what I think.
All right. How about Sir JDM?
For me, for a personal level, being on this show, I learned time management because, like Sergio, I also like all of us are working, right? And sometimes I won't be able to make it to the show because I'm sometimes on call. So what I do is I record video for my entry for this topic, and um, I learned to do my research. I do video editing. I do recording because uh, the hardest part of producing videos is the editing, and also um, going forward, I'm planning to um, maybe bring some people in for interviews. I got some prospect people or groups that we could invite in the show, but uh, due to scheduling, it won't be that easy to reach out to them. But I'm trying my best to, because I think we haven't had any interview like we did with Howard Scott Warshaw, right, in
Yeah, we did.
2011. I think that's the very first time like a major interview that we had. And hopefully in the succeeding episodes, we'll be able to bring in some big fish in the show. So please stay tuned for that.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. We're looking for that big fish. uh,
So
that
Joel, please fishing. Since you like
The
fishing
big
game.
kahuna.
we'll let Sir Joel do the fishing. How about Miss Hino?
Um, as someone who's relatively new to this team as a panel member, um, it's mind blowing for me that this show has reached 100 episodes and you guys been through so many seasons. You've interviewed a lot of people and you've talked about topics that aren't necessarily in the mainstream uh, for the gaming community. So that tells me that people are interested, people are listening, and I was actually surprised when I saw like the comments, the questions in the chat. So that really tells me that all of the hard work that you guys put in, there is now a community who is actively tuning into the episodes, and I think that you guys legitimately made a lot of new friends because of this show. So I think that's amazing, and I would also like to thank you guys for inviting Eileen and me to the podcast because we all know that gaming in general is a what they call this a male dominated space. So thank you for having us here in the show, and I also sympathize with you guys when you mentioned that Philippines is a hard sell. When I used to make Watage dance videos, I do choreo, I shoot the video, I edit the video, which is, you're right, the most difficult. Um, JDM said the most difficult part of it, the editing and then post it to YouTube. I actually made more friends across the world, Mexico, Korea, of mainly Japan, Indonesia. There was some in Germany, Spain. Uh, it may be sad that we're not reaching to the audience here in the Philippines, but let's play with our strengths. If we are more palatable to an international audience, then so be it. There are tons of other streamers, gaming communities here that caters to the local crowd. Then let's cater to the international crowd. And I'm glad that we have international panelists here in the team as well. So I'm looking forward to. You mentioned that it's been a while since the last interview. Looking forward to that, to interview other people. You actually gave me guys an idea who I can potentially invite one day to our show. And again, thank you for having me here. And I'm looking forward to celebrating more milestones with you guys.
Yay! Thank you for that, Miss Hinu. She pretty much
Mhm.
summed up everything that I've been complaining. Filipinos are a hard sell. uh, let's do one more question. This will be the last one before we end the show. Coming from Sir Lee of G3. He asks, what is the most difficult thing in podcasting as a group? Lalo na, especially us here in different location. And who are the personal favorites? Who are our personal favorites that we would like being with on the show, and who are the ones who are hard headed to be with?
Oh no, this
Okay.
is
Well, we all
part
know
of
who that one hard-headed person is. You know.
I'll try to answer this first. Okay. One of the most difficult things in podcasting as a group. So this is unlike G3 because G3 they also do their shows on the group. Um, a few things difficulty wise, and I think the ladies and gentlemen here will agree with me. Syncing our time, syncing our scheduling, number one, because different timelines. Okay, Sir Drew is in Japan, and then Sir Viraj, Sir Dan in the UK, Sir Joel in New Jersey. I'm from down south. Sir JDM also from down south. Right. So syncing our schedules. Who will be the ones when a particular topic is being suggested? Who are the panelists that will be adequate enough to talk about that particular topic? Because not all of us will do the work. Of course, we don't force it to everyone. Like you should play this so that you can so you can have something to contribute to the episode. No, we don't do it like that. If you have the time to play, play. If you have some knowledge of it, share it. So to me, um, uh, uh, those two things. Personal favorites, really, as much as possible, I would like to be with these guys. No, no exemptions, really. Um, there's one thing maybe the unnecessary noise maybe, but can't be helped. I mean, we live in different locations. Who knows? Maybe there's a rooster croaking at the crack of dawn already, or some dogs barking. Can't be helped. We're not on a studio here, okay? We're just doing the show in our living rooms, in our own man caves, in our own female caves. Hard-headed. Uh, I, I have someone in mind, but I'm not sure if everybody has the same person in mind.
We
So
all have the same person
I'll
in
talk to Joe.
mind. Oh my goodness. Well, you're passing it to me. All right. Let's see. The most difficult thing of because of podcasting in a group is giving everybody enough time to express their opinions. I want because of the fact that we are constrained by time. We want to make sure that we give the best quality in terms of time to everybody listening, but we also want to hear everybody's opinions. One thing about the difficulty of it is if somebody might have an opinion about a particular thing and they might not be able to put that forward because of the fact that we're still training ourselves to be able to put forward each other's opinions without stepping onto anybody else's time. So it's a little hard. I guess that's the biggest hardship that I experience in podcasting, because I want everybody to be able to put in their quality opinions. Let's see. Favorite. Every single one of you, every single person here is a joy to be with. It's like trying to ask me who my favorite child is. I mean, I only have one child and I only have one favorite child anyway. But if I had a dozen of them, I wouldn't be able to pick any single one of them, because every single person here in this panel is a joy to be with. And it's an amazing thing interacting with everybody here in Timeless Gamer Show. Who is the most hard-headed person to deal with in the show? Come on, let's be frank. It's Viraj, but we love him for it. We love him for it. We love him. We love the fact that he always has an opinion that is not necessarily in agreement with everybody else. His opinions are contrarian, but the thing about it is they give value to the discussion, because what kind of a discussion would it be if everybody just agreed? Viraj tosses in something different. It's a good way to kind of point out the difference in what everybody is saying. I value him for that. So that's the thing. I like how the makeup of this panel is. Somebody once suggested there should be more conflict. I disagree. There should be a little bit of opposition in terms of how the normal flow of conversation is, but conflict is not something that we have, because of the fact that we always give way to somebody else's point of view, and we always try to see the value in what somebody else says. That's what I see with Timeless Gamer Show.
All right. Sir Viraj is currently driving a train right now, so to everyone, please buckle up, and to everyone in the platform, get away from the platform. How about Miss I?
I would say the most difficult thing maybe is agreeing upon a topic and finding the time to prepare for it. I'm not sure if I'm speaking for everyone, but sometimes I find it difficult to just find the time to prepare and play games. Because life happens, and I would say, again, we have different time zones. We are just fortunate here in the Philippines that we are in the, I would say, the mean or the middle time zone. Considering Sergio is, what time is it over there? And then Sergio has to get up early, and our friends from the UK are sometime in the afternoon. So it's really the time zones that is difficult as well for all of us. And having the chance for everybody to be at the podcast at the same time. And also personal favorites. co-panels, I would say everyone. It's always fun to have an episode because we are interacting here. It's different when we are chatting on our group chat, but talking here live, it's much more lively and fun interacting with the guys. And yeah, who is the most hard-headed? Sir Raj. There's no denying. Sorry, Sir Raj.
All right. How about our JDM?
For me, same with most of you guys. The time to find time for um, thinking for a topic, and sometimes thinking what to say or which games to discuss. But um, that's okay, since even though if you're not really into that topic, you like little to no knowledge of the topic, there's still um, we still have other panelists who will be able to help you learn more about it. And for um, the panelists who's your favorite, like my favorite, like everyone, but mostly it's going to be my Ninong Joel, because he is always supportive with my games, the games that I choose when we have these specific topics. And and also, who wouldn't like to hear his voice, especially if you're in the audio only. It's like you're listening to a um radio DJ, right? And for hard-headed, it's going to be Viraj, but sometimes it's a job because of the not safe for work snippets. Because I remember Kuya Raymond, like was it in the gaming myths episode when he was talking about Chun-Li doing this stuff, then suddenly, like a voice of reason, Kuya Raymond came up in the screen, and he stressed that we are a family
We are a
friendly
family.
show.
We are.
Stop doing. But I think that's one of the reasons why this show is entertaining, is because of that um those not
The
safe for work.
unpredictability.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
like
random comments like, breastfeeding is best for babies, also for daddies too. Things like that. We just
Right.
we, yes, Miss Ida, why? No, the fact is that's who we are here in Timeless Gamer Show. We do our very best to make sure that it's a family show, but families are also comprised of adults too, right? So
yeah.
there's something for everybody, like JDM says.
How about Miss Hino? So
Um,
far.
challenge. The challenge for me, one of the challenges for me would be looking for people that I can invite as a guest here for our show, because I have several people in mind, but when I ask them, I suddenly forget the fact that I've been in the camera for several years with my dancing, and then with being invited to the podcast. And when I hear people say, "Oh, I'm not really comfortable speaking in front of the camera," and I'm like, "Oh, not everyone is used to this. Not everyone is comfortable speaking to an audience, even if it's not a live audience. Not everyone is like that." So it makes me realize that somehow at some point I suddenly became comfortable speaking to an audience, even if it's in front of a camera or like a live audience. And now I would need to, you know, widen my search for potential guests for our show. Maybe people who are more comfortable or have the experience of speaking in a podcast. And the second one would be, I think it's the same with JDM, is that every time we have a topic, for example, RPGs or like hidden gems, there's a bunch of hidden gems that I would really like to throw out into the world, but I also need to be mindful of our audience because some hidden gems on my end might be too much or maybe too complex or maybe too obscure or obtuse to our audience. So I would need to find like the sweet spot. Maybe one game would for like a more general audience, and then the second game that I would recommend would be something that's more for the niche or the core gamers who would like to look for something that is out of their comfort zone. So just having that balance of minding who our audience is. For
Oh,
members, I haven't interacted with everyone from the panel yet, so I can't say that there's a favorite, but I would say that the people who I've um, only have like the first meeting via our show, it's kind of daunting because I don't necessarily know the person, or I don't know what our dynamic is gonna be, so it's a bit daunting. But so far, I'm glad that everyone's been easy to get along with, and it's genuinely entertaining and fun to hear everyone's opinions, no matter if we're agreeing or disagreeing in a in a certain topic.
all right. Thank you for that, Miss Hinyo. We got Shin back here, and then for someone who is also well experienced in live streaming with a group,
Yes. Sorry about
how
the
would you
internet, by
answer?
the way, guys.
How would you answer this question, bro? The most
Okay.
difficult thing in
I
podcasting
think
as a group.
I think it's more of like the technical. Personally, for me, it's the technical aspect because there's a lot of cases where most of the guests um might have, like, for instance, like right now, my internet connection is a huge problem. Um, there are some times that there's a delay when people are talking, especially here in StreamYard. And what happens is that when people start to have a certain ideas and something pops up to another panelist, you just can't help but want to jump in or intervene or want to say something to actually add on, or maybe, probably try to intervene to whatever the opinion was. But the problem was is that sometimes, because of the delay, the technical delays that's happening, the person is still speaking, and then at the same time the person is just about to receive whatever they're actually hearing from the other person. um the other aspect that I think of that makes it difficult is, I think it's just the chemistry. Just like what Miss Hino just said earlier. The thing is that, like, if you don't have the time to, have a bit of a rapport with the members, there are cases where you might tend to compromise or even try to actually a bit of a fence sitter sometimes, just so that you don't offend the fellow panelists. That, like, for instance, like, let's say it might be the first time that I would talk to either Sir Viraj or Sir Dan, who's down there, by the way. And I don't know if they might have some feelings in regard to certain Nintendo games that I like, or maybe if I said something about a certain Sega game, they might actually get pissed off. I never had a lot of times to actually talk to them, so there's a chance that I might offend them. So most of the time, 100% of the time, you just tend to listen, adapt, agree. When you try to disagree, you try to walk on eggshells, trying to see that, like, it's a little bit different with you and me, with you and me, Quiz Joe, because you and I, we've gone a long way, and you and I have been playing good cop, bad cop most of the time. So when it comes to our interaction and chemistry with each other, it's like that there's going to be intervention or somebody's going to try to do a rebuttal, but that is like the biggest thing that I see, which is a difficulty. But in time, the more that like all the participants join in a podcast, the more that they will find the chemistry or the perfect balance when it comes to the way that they handle the podcast. Like some people might actually have a specific characteristics in them that could work well with how the topic would be. There will be cases where everybody would, without even talking about it, agree that like we were expecting Quiz Joe to say something that would be so long-winded, but it's going to end up into some sort of a hentai, etchy kind of remarks. So it takes a lot of time for that thing to come out. So in due time, it will come out, but it has to go at least more than just like 20 episodes, 30 episodes. As a matter of fact, even though we are already in our 100 episodes, we're still pretty much in our infancy because there are a lot of new participants. I think Miss over here, Eileen, sis Eileen, who's like just also been like slowly but surely trying to be active again. There's so many new chemistry, and most of us haven't really had the time to interact with each other. So even 100 episode is still not up. So it's all
Oh,
about trial and error, and it's
fun
like going
fact.
as much as
Shin is fun fact. Sorry, bro. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Shin is one of the few guys who vouch for Sir JDM and Miss I to be in the show.
Yes, yes, I do. They have such a huge potential. In fact, it's not even just me. Actually, the wifey Momo was the one that was vouching for Miss Eileen, and the reason to that is because when she was listening to Eileen's presentation, she said that like, if you remove all of these obstacles in Miss Eileen's path, she would be one heck of a podcaster because she has all the information, she has the enthusiasm, and at the same time, she has every single bit of a passion when it comes to the items that she's trying to show everybody on the podcast. The problem is it's like, no offense, is Eileen, but you're always tired because of the schedule that you have. And when we personally met, you literally was like, hi, hello, let's meet up. Hi. Oh, by the way, I'm going to work now. Bye. So you don't have that much of a time or like let's say the luxury to sit down and basically having time to unwind. So even Momo herself said that like when it comes to the podcasters here in Timeless Gamers, Eileen is a very, very important member, and so is this JDM, because despite the fact that like each and every one of us might be well spoken, well versed, or let's say a little bit entertaining, there are some of us that might lack that, but have a potential that would grow, provided that they would be sitting down on every episode, even though they don't like it. That's why sometimes, Chris JDM, even though like there are some episodes that I know you're not supposed to go to, I would even say throw that man over there. Let him sit over there and let him get out of his shell, basically get him out there and look at where you are right now. Trust me, Chris JDM, if you look back on those previous episodes that you started in comparison to where you are right now, I would say there are far less starter, there are far less dead airs. Trust me on that.
Thanks. Thank you so
High
much.
praise. High praise.
Yes.
Thank you for that, bro.
Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, real quick, since I actually left during the show and tell, I'm just going to show you guys one
Show and
thing
tell.
that I just recently bought. Yeah, just real quick. It's a little bit of unrelated in a way because it's a comic. It's a doujinshi basically, but this doujinshi right here, it's called Bit Fighter. Is basically like there's this thing called Gijinka, which is like most of you guys like those girls that are based out of ships and then they turn into girls. Before we had those waifus, this comic already came out. This doujinshi came out. Basically, if you would notice, this is the Sega Dreamcast, and you have the N64, you have the Sega Saturn, and then the PlayStation. What's so interesting about this doujinshi when I actually look for it, because I actually have another copy a long time ago. So I have to look for this again. What's so interesting about this comic is that this comic, they made a story about the departure of Sega Saturn.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's about the fact that, like, Sega Saturn is, like, going on her way and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like trying to show what happens to each and every console, like if they're females. And the thing is like, Sega Saturn is on its way out, and then Sega Dreamcast is basically coming in. So it's one of those things that I'm about to show and tell. Some of them are also other doujinshis as well. I don't think I need to show much about that. And so it's mostly a lot of certain video game doujinshis. But yeah, that's my show and tell.
Nice. Very cool. You're gonna have to post the titles of those on the chat, Shin, so that we can have a look at them too sometime.
Oh, I could share
For
them
future
for you guys in
reference.
the GC if you want. I'll
Oh
put pictures if
yeah,
you want.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do-
Especially the
Dojin
last one I
talk,
showed.
please.
Yes. But anyways,
So
yes.
sweet.
This is what we mean by saying posting not safe for work content. We are a family show, guys. No, seriously.
We're a Christian channel, guys. Seriously.
We are very Christian.
Yeah.
We're halal. Right. So that's the show, guys. Oh, I think we got something here from Sir Ray. Let's see if this works.
Good evening and good morning to everyone. Sorry if I wasn't able to join in this awesome episode and awesome milestone of Timeless Gamers podcast due to work related schedule, bad trip. So gusto ko sana magdrama on live podcast, kaso ito nga stuck sa recorded video. So anyway, I just want to say thank you kay Sir Joe for allowing me to be part of the Timeless Gamers podcast. Ayan, sobrang blessed kasi napasama ako sa mga matatandang panel like yeah. And then kay Tito Joel, I want to say thank you for the opportunity kasi a brief history. Bago ako napasok sa Timeless Gamer, I watched the Timeless Gamer podcast episode 4, and then sabi ko kaya ko namang gawin to. So and actually Tito Joel and I were part of a group before. So sabi ko sa kanya, piniem ko siya, Tito Joel, baka pwede akong sumali sa podcast. And actually yung episode nila which is the top 10 fighting games like you seen on the screen, and that's my first episode of Timeless Gamers. So sabi ko sa kanya, kasi forte ko ang fighting games, like I'm really a big fan of fighting games. So sige, sabi niya, let's talk to Joe and then let's see what we can do. And ayun nga, the rest is history. Napasama ako sa Timeless Gamers podcast. Nandun pa si Sir Siebert, si Sir Carlo, si RV, and then si Maynard, and then si J Prime. Tapos ang kasama kong panel is that time, this episode na to is mga kasama natin dati sa ibang grupo. We're also fan din ng na fighting game. So yun nga, nagtuloy-tuloy na yung natin pagsama sa podcast. So eventually naging main panels na panelist na rin tayo. So from episode 5 onwards, yun yung kasama nyo si Raymond Arendes, aka before I used to call myself Retro Freak Gaming. So ngayon si Raymond Arendes na lang of Studio.ph. one of the memorable episodes din ng Timeless Gamers wherein ito yung pinaka sabi ko ito epitome ng why we do live stream podcasting is to show the viewers. Yan. So ito yung pinaka sa akin yung the time that we interviewed Howard Scott Warshaw, the creator of Alien tuloy, mali. The creator of E.T. ng Atari, wherein 3 months lang niya ginawa yung game, and they consider it as the worst video game of all time. But suddenly on this millennial ground, it serves as a parang siya, nag-iba yung ihip ng hangin. So with that, sobrang sobrang amazed on how we got the chance to interview this one of a kind video game creator. So hoping ako sana makapag-interview pa kami ng mga big names sa mga darating na episodes. Hopefully dahil on the ground na tayo, gumagawa na tayo ng content on the ground, so hopefully we can manage to get some big names on the local industry naman, local video game industry, para makapag-share naman ng thoughts sa natin sa live podcast. Syempre hindi ko rin pwedeng makalimutan magpasalamat sa mga loyal viewers ng show in spite of na maraming lipatan and balasahan na nangyari sa Timeless Gamer. Still you manage to stick with us, and right now we're in the 100 episode na. So again, maraming salamat sa inyo, and 2 more episodes to come, guys. Maraming salamat. Ano pa? Thank you din kay Sir Joe for allowing me na ako yung maging main, dahil that time umalis na si J Prime, our sole thumbnail maker. I got the chance to ako na yung mismo gumagawa ng thumbnails namin. So as you can see sa loop na slideshow na sa taas, yan, taas yan, is some of the works that nagawa ko na as a thumbnail for the Timeless Gamer. So thank you Sir Joe for allowing my creative juice to flow, for the love of doing some thumbnails for the Timeless Gamer. And hopefully mas gumana pa yung creative juices ko with regards on doing some posters para sa Timeless. And yun nga, thank you so much. And syempre ihuhuli ko rin yung yung mga yung pinaka number 1 supporter ko, which is yung misis ko and yung anak ko, na hanggang ngayon kahit na nagre-record ako, still nasa background pa rin. Yan, nakikita nyo pa rin yan, like right now si Maddie gising. And yung misis ko, minsan pag nagpa-podcast ako is andyan din siya, yan, bumoboses. So thank you so much for the support. Yan, hopefully napasama ko na pala siya sa isang podcast namin. That was episode 99. So yeah. So again, thank you so much sa misis ko and sa anak ko, still with overwhelming support. Okay, so hanggang dito na lang tayo. Gusto ko sana magdrama through live record sa live, pero ito nga, recording tayo. Ayan. Bawi na lang ako. Yan, sa susunod. So, again, this is Raymond Orendes, aka Retro Freak Gaming, aka Studio.ph na lang. So, again, this is bye.
Wow. Sabi si Sir Chomar says, why so serious? Oh my God. All right. Thank you for that, Sir Ray, for a very touching message. So, yep. We can probably end the show right there.
Mhm.
And so here's to us, guys, for I'm not sure how long we can keep this up, but as
Oh.
long as people are
Let me grab mine.
listening,
Let me grab mine.
people are
This is all I-
watching. As long as people are watching, as long as people are listening, as long as people are chatting right there, let's just let's just don't mind it. Let's just keep going forward. It's okay to look back. You know, keep moving forward. Yeah.
Salud.
For more episodes to come. Kampai.
Is it vodka? Is it water? You don't know.
You don't know.
All you know is color green. That's it.
That's
That's
it.
absinthe, machine.
Because and oil.
So
It's a pick and oil.
we'll close it now. So 3 years ago when we started this, it was just originally something to pass the time during the pandemic years, and with Maynard, with RV, Carlo, and Siebert. When we started this show, we did it on Maynard's channel. Kaka-computer mo yan. And then when we branched out, we rebranded ourselves with Sir JDM's title there, Timeless Gamers. We brought in Shin, we brought in Sir Joel to the mix, and then eventually with Sir Ray, and then eventually Sir JDM got J Prime. J Prime first, and then Sir JDM, and then Miss I, and then Sir Pau got in, and then Miss Charlene got in,
Yes.
and then Sir Dan came in, Sir Viraj came in, and then as of the latest, Sir Drew, and then Miss Hino. So, for the last 3 years, we've been doing this. We've been fooling around, fooling around, discussing the games that we like, depending on which topic. The challenge of keeping the show under 2 hours always escapes us.
That's still 200 episodes later. We're still gonna have to worry about that. Trust me.
We still have to work on that. Really.
Just not talk about Resident Evil, then we're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Or Chrono Trigger.
Or Chrono Trigger.
Or
Resident Evil
Star
Chrono
Wars.
Trigger always it will last for 5 to 6 hours. So
Or anything RPGs, really. On behalf of the original members, Maynard, RV, Siebert, and Carlo, on behalf of the previous host, J Prime, Paolo, Charlene, on behalf of the host that can't be here right now, Sir Ray, Sir Viraj, Sir Jomar, Sir Drew, and earlier with Sir Dan, and on behalf of the panel that we have right now, Broshin, Miss Hinu, Miss I, Sir JDM, and Sir Joel. Our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless. Thanks very much, everybody, for hanging around. Thanks for being here, and we look forward
Thank
to
you,
seeing you
guys.
again for another 100,000 episodes. Bye.
Oh yeah, looking forward for that. Waifu episode next.